Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the day 3 training program of ours. I believe my audio is reaching to everyone. Can somebody come on me?
Yes, Prabhas.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, very good afternoon. Well, okay. Fine then. So let me first share my screen. And is there any doubt or queries from our day 1 or day 2 side? If you have anything you wanted to discuss with me. All right. So I believe everybody is able to access the day 1 and day 2 recording as well. Have you gone through that?
Yeah, it's accessible and able to
Okay,
go through it.
fine. Fine then. So during the practice, you can make use of that. If at all anything is missing, we have got the stepwise recordings also. Well, thank you so much for your responses, people. So let's start with our day 3 program as we discussed. Today, we are going to start with when you have a huge volume of data from SAP or ERP, if you have downloaded, then how to read our data properly and how to present it effectively to our target audience and how to prepare different kind of reports over there, and being a professional, how to prepare a dashboard using the pivot table options. We are going to discuss entire thing in this day 3. Okay, so kindly go to the file name called data analysis. We have a file in our sample case studies folder, so kindly go to that file, data analysis. The moment you open that file, you will be finding a data structure like this. So kindly confirm you got the same worksheet open in front of the screen. Y for yes quickly in the chat box. All right. So I'll take you through the data so that everybody can connect with the data properly and we'll understand our objective also, and then we'll start working with it. Suppose say at 9:30 a.m. I dropped into office and my boss immediately called me, Prabhas, please come to my cabin. I need to discuss something with you. And when I dropped into his cabin, he told me that Prabhas, I was going through the monthly reports, whatever we are submitting to the management, but I don't find the quality of information. It seems as if some ready-made numbers we have downloaded from our SAP or ERP and we are presenting the same to the people. And in fact, the last meeting or the monthly review meeting I attended, and I understood that none of the audience were quite happy with the presentations what we have made. So let's do something different this time. This is what my boss is coming up with an idea. And what he's telling me, please download last 3 years revenue data from our SAP system. And we'll analyze further and we'll do something different this time. Well, I gave my respective T codes in my SAP and I download a report. Around 1 lakh line items, it comes in this format. Like we have got the customer names, we have got the product type. These are the different product types we are manufacturing. Then these are the product names, what we manufacture. So basically, I will tell you in one line, this is an automobile industry's data naming called Tata Motors. Let's take. So assume that we are the employee of the Tata Motors, and this is what the data we have downloaded from SAP or ERP. So list of our salesman names also available. Region, these are the different regions we export our products. Order date is nothing but the billing date or invoice date you can treat. Sales in terms of US dollar, we are making the billing. This you can take it as a our billing value or billing column, billing amount. You can treat this as an INR also, no problem. Year of incurrence of sale, month and the quarter and the intermediate channel partner, if any, that list is also available. So it's a huge data you can see. Now, when I presented this data to my boss, he's telling, Prabhas, this data is of no use for me. You keep it with you. What I want is a simple report out of this. What kind of report? Like whatever the products we have sold to our customers, based on those products during the last 3 years, how much revenue we have made, I want to see a report. So one thing for us, it is clear that we have a huge volume of data and my boss is expecting a summarized format of the data or a tabular format of data or a crispy presentation out of this huge data junk. Now, in this situation, what is the first thing that comes to our mind? If you are already working with pivot, you must be definitely thinking of pivot table only, right? So this is what the mistake we do. No doubt, pivot is the right tool to address all these things, but we don't pay attention at least for 2 minutes to our data. Whether our data is ready for pivot, we never discuss about it. So this is the place where, my friends, people always commits a mistake, and later stage they face a lot of trouble. But going forward, we are not going to commit that mistake. So any point of time, if you happen to create a pivot out of any structure of data, people, you need to follow certain rules. The ground rules, what I said is there are minimum 3 rules which there which you need to be satisfied before creating a pivot. What are they? Like rule number 1, the data whatever we have downloaded, received, or we have created, ensure there is a column header in each and every column. So each and every column should contain a column header. If column header is missing, you must define that manually. Column 1, column 2, and so on. And none of the column header having the duplicates. So no duplicate column name should be there. If I want to retain 2 columns as customers, I can, but I should name it as customer 1 and customer 2. So this is our rule number 1, that the data must contain a header. Rule number 2, the amount of data, whatever we have downloaded, captured, or received, ensure that there is no blank cells at all. So how will I confirm? If you remember, in our day 2, we discussed something about data clean one sheet name, exercise name. And if you happen to check the blanks, what we did, Control G, G for gamma. Then we click the special button, and then we have gone for blanks. And when you go for this and click OK, immediately it will be giving me a message. No cells were found. So kindly confirm everybody is getting the message like no cells were found. Select your data, Control G, G for gamma, click special, click blanks, and click OK. Are you getting no cells were found? Perfect. If you are getting, Vijay has confirmed, very good. How about others? Sriram also got it. Rohan too. Fine. All right. Shanmugam, are you getting the same? Okay. Fine then. So now the moment we have done with this, our rule number 2 is also satisfied. There is no blanks at all. Now, rule number 3, ensure that no column has the merged data, because most of the time, what is the practice we have, people? We combine multiple cells and we merge them and we create a data header for that. See, that's meant for display, not for the calculations, because most of our Excel functionalities doesn't read our merge data. So it is always better, make a thumb rule. If you happen to prepare a pivot table, avoid using the merge cells. Now, having said this, our data is ready for next level, no doubt. But I told you, if you remember in our day 2, data clean 2, if you download the data from SAP or ERP system, there are 2 areas always you will be finding the trouble. So what are those 2 columns? Can anybody name that? In day 2, data clean 2, the exercise, the fixed asset register, when you download from SAP or ERP system, I told you there are 2 areas.
Date and years.
Yes. So there are 2 things. Number column will not be in number format. Date column will not be in date format. And we need to again check the same. So in our case, if you look at, we have a order date, no doubt. Keep your cursor in the first date of the order date column and select the rest. Control Shift down arrow key. Now, how will I check that my date column is there in proper date format? I told you there is a keyboard shortcut to convert any format to date format. If you remember, we discussed already in day 1. Anybody? To convert any format to date.
Mm, Control plus Shift plus 3.
Very good. So Control, Shift, and 3, if you go for pressing together, automatically it will be changed the format to a readable date format. So just see, Our date column, is it changing the format? Yes. So it is a simple message. Since the format is changing, definitely my date is there in proper date format. So this is the best way to confirm. All right. Coming to the billing column, sales USD. Keep your cursor in the first billing amount from the sales USD column and select the rest. Control Shift down arrow key. Now, how will I confirm that my numbers are there in proper number format? Again, what is that keyboard shortcut? In day one, we discussed already.
Control Shift plus 1.
Control Shift 1. So when you go for Control Shift and 1 together, this is going to help you in changing the format, any format to number format. So can you see the changes like one decimal and post decimal 2 characters and before decimal comma separators automatically is being applied? So this is again a confirmation that our numbers are there in proper number format. But post decimal, we have zeros. That doesn't play any role. So unwantedly, there is no point of extending the value by another 2 zeros and making our file size heavy. To remove the same, you can go for Alt H9 or going to home, you can use decrease decimal, whichever it is comfortable for you, go for it. And this is how we have understood our date is there in proper date format and numbers also is there in proper number format. Hope it is clear. Any doubt, any queries? So how to understand your data better? That's what I'm giving a message for you, nothing else. Right. Now, kindly stay focused on my screen. There is a problem in our data. Just see. Order date and month. If you look at, can you identify the problem?
In order, it is show 3 January 14, but in month column it is showing December.
So technically, order date will be definitely right, but month column is not fetching the value properly. So something is wrong in the month column. So how to rectify this? I told you in day one, how to extract a month from a date. Anybody?
Equal to text.
Very good.
Uh, Select order date format
Right.
and MMM format.
Very good. So MMMM 4 times to get the complete string of the month name. If you go for 3M, only first 3 characters, it's not case sensitive. You can write in caps on and drop in caps also, no problem. Now, once the formula is ready, our month column will be rectified and go for double click on the fill handle and our month is ready. So kindly do that, the month column. Now, once we have done with this, people, next, what is the step you have to follow is keep your cursor anywhere in the data and go for Control A and convert your data into table. I told you in day 2 how to convert your data into table.
Control plus T.
Control T. T for tango, T for table. Very good. So when you press Control T, immediately it will be taking you to the Create Table dialog box on the screen and click OK. So immediately you can notice your data has been converted into a proper tabular format. Now, once you have got these things ready like this, keep your cursor anywhere in the data and go to Insert. The very first option from the Insert menu we have called Pivot Table. So click on this Pivot Table icon And when you click this icon, okay, it will take you to a dialog box over here, naming called select table from a range. Yes, table name is there. And by default, it is always going to create a new worksheet. That's what we want to make our presentation neat and clean. And the moment you click OK, you will be finding a sheet has been generated in your same workbook. And in the left side, you will be finding a space where this is the place where pivot table is going to get designed. And within that space, you see a name is also defined, pivot table 1. So it's a message for us. Each and every pivot table, whenever you prepare, this will be having a unique name. Now, towards our right side, if you look at, there is a box where you will be finding your entire fields are listed over here in a box. This is called field list box. And towards your right side, you will be finding over there a small boxes kind of structure. This is called field area. Now we have only one job left. What is that? Whatever the fields we need it, we need to just drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop, and drag and drop. So this is the only action we need to initiate. But the thing is, before proceeding further, if you look at, the major concern is my layout is not matching with yours. Do you agree? So in this case, let us bring our layout to the equal page. What you can do, people, is if you see in this pivot table fields, there is a settings button over here. And then when you go for this settings button, there's an option called field items and area section side by side. Okay. And now you can see the similar structure just like me, you will be also having in your screen. So this is just one-time job. This will be applicable for your entire systems, pivot files, anything you have created. Or tomorrow in the future, when you're going to create also, you'll be having the same feature. Okay. Now, once we are ready with this, as I told you, we have to just drag and drop. I can drag it, but where to drop? I have got 4 different choices. For this also, we need to follow a rule. What is the rule says that, can you notice there is an option called sigma value over here. So this is a simple message. Whichever the column you take, if it contains the numbers, you must bring it to the sigma value area. Reason? If you bring the field over here, you can play around with your formula and functions. Sum, count, average, product, minimum, maximum, all these things, it is possible over here only. So let's go for the report. What is that? My boss asked me, last 3 years revenue data. Okay, revenue data. Which column? Sales USD. Is it containing the numbers? Yes. So what should be the right field area? Value area. Okay. Now 3 years revenue data. We have a field called year. Take that to the columns. Now 3 years revenue data based on product. So product description, one field is there that you bring it to rows. And immediately a beautiful pivot is going to turn up on your Excel sheet, having a total of 31,99253. So kindly confirm everybody has got the same total. All right. Now we got our first pivot table ready, people, but this is not ready for dispatch. The reason, if you remember, I have been telling you all the time, though you prepare all your numbers or consolidate or play around, but always be careful about your presentation part as well, because this is the place where you are going to make yourself different from others. So this pivot, whatever we have prepared, people, this is not ready. The reason, first of all, the look and feel of pivot is not so great. So how to change this? Let's have a look. Keep your cursor anywhere in pivot. Can you see one design button extreme right of the ribbon menu is activated? Design. So when you go to the design menu over here, You have multiple styles of pivot. So go for the more style. And which style we should take? If you remember, we have discussed already in the data presentation sheet, the format as table option. I told you, always go for light or medium. Don't go for the dark options. Very good, Vanisha. Now, why not the dark option? Anybody? I told not to take the dark options. What was the reason behind it?
Takes more space.
Increase the size of the sheet.
Very good. Always remember that. The more the colors, again, our Excel file size will be more. So let's take one medium category out of this. The moment you take this, you can see a beautiful, colorful look over there or feel in our pivot is turning up. Yes. Now, one more major problem, if you look at, just stay focused, no need to do anything. Bolt, Genix Nano, Hexa, Indica, what are they? They all are our products. And we have a name also, the field product description. Whereas in pivot, it takes as name called row labels. Similarly, 2014, 15, 16, it is the years, but it is taking name of column level. So this is the place where people we have to again rectify. Our experts, they will tell, don't worry, Prabhas, go on manually edit it. Don't do that. If you do it manually editing over here, no doubt. I mean, right now you will not be finding any of much of impact. But tomorrow, when you automate your task by writing the macro coding and all, there it will stop. It will not operate over there because you have changed the field names manually. So this is the reason why what I suggest is instead of writing it manually or changing the fields, what you can do, keep your cursor anywhere in the data, go to the design tab, and there's an option called report layout. Report layout. And in this report layout, the third option deals with show in tabular form. And when you go for show in tabular form over there, and immediately you'll be finding as it is name whatever we had, is it populating in the pivot table field names? So going to design, going to report layout, show in tabular form. Now, one more thing, as I told you, you would have also remembered that when you present your data as it is, nobody likes it nowadays. What people are expecting that you should present your data in such a way, it should tell a beautiful story to the people. So how to make it? Just say, keep your cursor in grand total column, any of the cell. Right click upon that. You have an option called sort. And in this sorting, go for sort largest to smallest. And when you go for sort largest to smallest with immediate effect, you could notice that in the last 3 years, from Indica product, we got the maximum revenue, and from Jest, we got the least revenue. So any layman who is sitting also, he can make out. What do you believe? So this is how people, we have understood how to create a pivot table over there in Excel by satisfying all the rules of our data, then doing the necessary checks or the controls in the respective columns, then doing the necessary formatting like converting the data into table, and finally, the moment it comes to the presentation part, how to present it in the format of a storytelling format, we got the clarity. All right. Now, once we have done with this, let's rename the sheet 1. Let's rename the sheet 1 the way I am designing. Please go for it. See, I'll go for naming the same as pivot, bracket open, 1, bracket close. Same format as it is. Please provide. Now, our pivot 1 is ready. Now, what you can do is just watch my screen, people. Again, click on this pivot 1 sheet tab and press your control button and drag it to the right. You'll be getting one more pivot naming called pivot table number 2. So kindly confirm pivot 2 is ready.
Can you please show this again? It did not happen for me.
Okay, fine. Do one thing. Go for pivot 1 sheet tab, right click. You will be getting a
Okay.
mover copy.
Okay.
If you click mover copy, you will be getting a dialog box and there checkbox create a copy is not enabled. Able to see?
So I get a dialog box, pivot 1, summary table, move to end. This is what I get.
In that box only, do you see a create a copy option? The checkbox is not
Yes.
activated. That
Yes,
you
I activate.
that you have to
Huh.
enable. Then click
Huh.
OK.
Okay. Huh.
You'll be
Now
getting
I got it.
automatically one more pivot. It's renamed already with pivot 2.
Yes, got it.
That is correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So I believe everyone has got the pivot 2 ready. Now let's discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Okay, so stay focused over here. Now suppose say this is what I have presented to my boss, last 3 years revenue data, and the entire products I have presented in terms of rows. So this pattern he likes the most, and he's telling me, Prabhas, what you have given me, I am able to analyze the data properly, and this gives a cool look also. But you have given me only last 3 years revenue data. I want to do some macro level of analysis upon the same, or I want to do some deep dive analysis upon that. So if that is the case, what is the meaning by macro level of analysis? Just see. Year-wise records we have presented, right? So if I want to go in depth, what I can analyze, month-wise analysis also can be done. So let's see now, do we have a field called month? Yes, we do have. Now take the same to the row area. So take this month to the row area with immediate effect, you will be finding your pivot structure changes. If you take month to the row area, you will be getting the structure what I showed on the screen.
We will do all these changes in pivot 2.
Yes.
That sheet we are going to.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Now, just 1 minute, focus on my screen. Remember one thing, people. Whenever you prepare a pivot table, each and every pivot, they have their own unique story. So before dispatching the pivot table report to the other user or to showcase the same to the audience, you need to understand the pivot, whatever we have prepared, what kind of story it is going to convey to the audience. So now, in this report, if you look at, my boss asked me 3 years revenue data. Is it there? Yes, of course it is there. He was looking for month-wise data. Have I prepared? Yes, we have prepared. But as a larger picture, if you see, the entire pivot report is still emphasizing upon the product description. Though month is there, month becomes secondary, product becomes primary. But my boss has never emphasized upon the product details. He was only focusing with year-wise, month-wise data to analyze. So in this case, this is the place where we have gone wrong. So how to rectify this? So do one thing, keep the cursor in pivot, and if you look at the row area, product description is already displayed as a first field. That you switch, just bring it back, drag and bring it below to the month and see the picture. Automatically my pivot structure changes, and this is what my boss is expecting from me. Just confirm you got the similar structure. So simply interchanging the field, how the entire pivot story becomes different, we have got a basic understanding.
Oh, I did not get this.
Okay.
Rows, I have month and product. Rows, I have month and product description. Values also is correct. Again, column has years. Yes, I've done the same thing, but somehow I've not got it.
No, in the row
Only this
area,
step.
what is the first field we have?
Okay, month. For me, the first field is product description.
That
I
is
have to
the,
put month above.
No. You can bring product description below to month. That will be more easy.
Okay. Now it worked. Yes, now it
Yes.
worked. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, once we have done with these people, then my boss has given the focus to the data area. And when he is watching the data, you could see there are many more cells we have got the blanks. You'll be also having the same picture. And now he's asking me a question, Prabhas, why there are so many blanks? So we discussed already when we created our data as a pivot table, then in that moment we have got discussed about three different rules or three validation rules. And out of that, the second one, there should not be any blanks in the data. And we confirmed no cells were found, the message also we received. But sometimes your pivot will be containing the blanks like this. So what is the reason behind it? What's the message? What's the belief you have? Why there are so many blanks?
Maybe there are no sales during that period.
Simple.
On that.
Simple. So in the year 2014, if I am focusing on the Jan month, with regard to the jest, I don't have any transactions because I have not sold a single vehicle to any of my dealers or customers. So what we have understood, it's not necessary or mandatory that in pivot, each and every cell should carry a value, right? But this is what we have understood since we are working with the data. But the person whom I'm sending, he will not be having the same pitch. He might be having something different. He might be having a question running in the mind. Is there any data loss or data missing over here? Could be the case. So people will ask questions, and leaving your day-to-day activities, you have to explain the same. Suppose you have sent this across to five different people. Five different people will be having the same question in the mind and same answer when you reply with to five different times to five different people whose premium time is being wasted. Of course, it's ours. Do you agree, all?
Yes.
Now, in this case, time is being wasted. Though it is mine or my organization's, time is being wasted. But who is the reason behind it? Who is responsible for all these things? See, as we know, data is meant for the audience. People will ask questions. I can't blame my audience why they're asking unwanted questions. But the question over here is, who is giving that opportunity to ask questions? It's me. So this is the reason why whatever it is happening, it is my mistake. And what is the mistake? The moment I dispatch this data to the audience, it is my duty to deal with all these blank cells and replace the same with some kind of predefined text, 0, hyphen, nil, not available. Then only I can stop people asking unwanted questions. But how to do that? Find and replace will not work. But I'll tell you a very beautiful option. Just see. In our pivot anywhere, if you right click from the bottom second option, pivot table options, you will be getting. And in this pivot table options, when you click it, it will take you to a dialog box, no doubt, naming called pivot table options. And within that, you will be finding a option called for empty cell show. One box is there. For empty cell show, one box is there. So in that box, you can type anything, whatever you like to replace with 0, hyphen, nil, not available. But I would suggest always go for 0 since we are dealing with the numbers. And the moment you type 0 and click OK with immediate effect, you will be finding the entire pivot, wherever the blanks were there, is it replaced with 0? Kindly confirm. So this is how, yes, Rohan, exactly. So this is how you should fill all the necessary tasks or the replace the blanks with this kind of format. And then only you can stop people asking unwanted questions. Now, once we have done with this, now just stay focused for one more minute on my report again. Just see. My boss started navigating to the products, and the moment he is reading out one by one, reaching to Tiago, he is unable to make out which month that data pertaining to. Then again, he has to come back and look back in the beginning. Then only he realizes this is of Jan month. So this is the way my data, whatever I am presenting, my boss is not comfortable reading the data in that way. So he is telling me, Prabhas, why don't you do something with the month column? Why don't you fill the month column blank cells with the respective month name so that Any point of time, any row item I am dealing with, I could make out which month that product is pertaining to. I don't need to struggle. I don't need to look back again, scroll a lot. Okay. So if that is the case, then how to deal with? If you remember, in our day 2, we discussed something about data fill, right? Data fill. Like we had got some store names, regular intervals, the blank cells. We selected the data, Control G, special, blanks, equal to, selecting the previous cell or referring to the previous cell, Control Enter. That was the lengthy exercise or procedure we had because we were working with a normal Excel sheet data. But right now we are working with pivot. We no need to struggle at all. It's very easy. Just see how. 1 minute, watch my screen. See, I will keep my cursor anywhere in pivot. I'll go to design. And in this design over here, if I go for it, we'll be having an option again, the report layout from the left third option. And there's an option called repeat all item labels. Repeat all item labels. And when I go for repeat all item labels with immediate effect, can you see your month column is getting populated? Check it out, please. Keeping the cursor in pivot, going to design and repeat all item labels. All right, so now once we have done with this, people, we have understood in pivot table number 2 how to interchange our fields to turn up a different story in pivot, how to deal with the blank cells and do the right treatment upon the same, then how to deal with our repeat all item labels and what is that thing it is doing for us in pivot and how to make a flat data in pivot table and present it across to the next level. So all these things we are clear with our pivot table number 2. All right. So now let's do one thing. Select your pivot 2, whatever you have. Holding the control button, just drag it to the right. You'll be getting one more pivot and that will be named as pivot table number 3. Just check. Pivot 3 is ready. So now let's discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Okay. Now, this is what I have presented to my boss. My boss is watching and he's telling me, Pravas, you have given me last 3 years revenue data in 3 different columns and 1 column of month-wise analysis. This pattern is really good. I liked it. But I am done with the product description details-wise analysis. I'm done with that. What I want to do is I want to do the same thing, but customer-wise analysis I want to do. So boss doesn't like to see anymore the product, and in place of product, customer should be there. So first thing first, which is unwanted product description, please remove the checkbox in the field list box. There is a cross or tick mark. You can just remove it. Now, what he's expecting, customer-wise analysis. Do we have a field called customer? Yes, we have. So take that customer to the row area and you will be having again a beautiful report, but now it is no longer with product, but it is the customer names. So kindly check it out. Are you getting the same setup? All right. Now, once this is done, let's go and focus on the report. So no need to do anything. Just watch my screen for a minute again. Who is our first customer? Is Al Hamid Automobiles is our first customer? Yes. Now suppose say my boss wants to analyze the data of Al Hamid Automobiles. So he will be focusing with this, and then in the month of Jan, no business. So it's showing zero. Okay. So Feb, we got some business. That's a good sign. March month, there is no sign at all. April's name is there, but there is no business. Again, May, no business. June, no business. And in the month of July, some business is there. So, like this, a particular customer data he wants to analyze for the whole year, he has to scroll down 12 times. Can you imagine? And that is what he is not comfortable reading the data in this pattern. Nobody will be also, we know that very well. So, what he is telling now me that because you have prepared, no doubt, a beautiful report, but it is not giving a comfort zone to read it. I have to navigate a lot. I have to scroll a lot. I don't want to do that. Why don't you do something in this report in prepare in such a way whenever I open the file, it should give me the entire details so that I no need to navigate much. I no need to scroll a lot. So if that is the case, then how to deal with? Just say keeping your cursor anywhere in this pivot table, if you go to your row area, month is there, the first field. You must confirm also, right? Now this month we'll be taking it to the column area below to the year and see the report. A beautiful report turns up again. The entire customer details is having one column, but imagine how many columns you would be landed up with if you look at, if I select the last row over there, you can find how many columns over here, near about total 41 columns. Now taking 41 columns over there, the data columns, how will you present it? Now suppose say my boss has never seen all these things and he asked me, Pravas, while coming to my cabin, get me a printout. So how will I take a printout of 41 columns? If I try hard over here, if I go for it, then what will be happening? Okay. It will be in not in a readable state. The font size will be very, very low. Then do you believe that I should go along with one magnifying glass with that A4 sheet printout to my boss cabin? Is it a right option or is it the ideal process?
It should be a more presentable way.
Definitely. So this is not the right way, people, what we are doing. This is not the right way. Okay. So what we need to do is just see. 1 minute first observe on my screen what I'm doing closely. Then next 1 minute I'll be giving time to try with. So I'll go to my 2014 over here in the column B, you see 2014. I will select that cell. I'll go for right click upon the same. Then I have a very beautiful option naming called expand and collapse. And within that, I'll go for a option called collapse entire field. So when I go for collapse entire field and if I click, see the beauty, the entire 3 years data, it is just cleans to three different column having a radio button, the plus symbol, we call it as a radio button created on the top. Now, any point of time, suppose my boss wants to see 2016 data, I can click on this plus symbol, only 2016 data alone will be expanded. So what is happening? Unwanted data, we are not showing to the people. Unwanted questions are not going to come. And since our presentation is over, if I want to restore my data, again, I need to click on that our radio button and data will be restored. See the beauty? Looks good, elegant, neat and clean, presentable, not so overloaded, right? So please give it a try and check, is it working? So going to column B, 2014, right click, expand and collapse, collapse entire field. Yes, people, any questions from anybody? Clear? Make sense? Now, this is how the moment you present it, people will love to see your reports, no doubt. But the thing is, what we have done, that is anybody's job. Anybody can do that. It's a simple right click options are available. So don't you think that a simple layman who is also having the pivot table data, he also can do like this? Now the question
Yes.
is over here, how to make our presentation different from others. So what else we can do it over here so that nobody can imagine of it or nobody can think in that way? Yes, give me your beautiful options. Now you are in day 3, so at least you should have got some ideas. So whatever it is, it comes to your mind. Because this is what we can do. You can express your view. Let's have a discussion. Yes, what can be done, people over here? Anybody?
Slicer.
Slicer. Okay, slicer. If you do, what is that you want to achieve out of that?
Maybe it may show per customer basis the
I
data.
don't want that. I don't want that. See, I have only this much of data. My boss is not looking for anything else. I have got the data customer-wise last 3 years analysis purpose I have created. With this, what I can do? No need of thinking of taking any other columns over here from the data and I want to analyze. That also anybody can do. Fields are there, right? All the fields are there. If I want to analyze based on the region, or if I want to go for product type wise analysis, anybody can do that. My question is very simple. This is what my boss is demanding. I have presented and which can be presented by anyone. But how to make our presentation different?
From largest to smallest. Let's
Yep,
make it
that's a good one. That's a good one. As we learned, we can go for sort, largest to smallest over here, right? So from Globus Tata, we have got the maximum revenue, and from our Concord Motors, we have got the list revenue. So this is how we can turn a beautiful story. That's a good one. We can take that. Yes. What else?
Then what do you call it? Outlines.
Outlines, you mean to say the borders you want to give it as a
Borders. Yeah, right.
okay.
Yeah.
We are already in table format. Already in table format. If you want to give a border, you can, but that's not a much of value addition, I consider. Yes. In day 2, did you remember we discussed about something called a visuals like data bars, icon sets,
Right.
spark lines,
Yes.
a lot of things, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that things you should try now. That should come to your mind. Before when I asked it, you should have given me the answer. Anyway, since you did not connect it, let me help you. So as I told you, the visuals always playing a great role. Nobody will demand for that, but yes, if you give it there over here as an add-on, people will love to see it. So what we have learned how to implement over here, just see. So first, we'll go and create a column naming called visual. Just 1 minute, watch my screen, what I'm doing closely, observe it. Then next 1 minute, you can try. To give a feel as if this is the property of pivot table, I will just apply the similar formatting, whatever we have. Okay. Now, who is the first customer? Globus Tata. I have taken the last 3 years data. I will go to my insert. The other day, day 2, if you remember, we have discussed about a spark line called column. Able to recall everybody?
Yes.
So today I'm going to take you through the line option. Okay, I'm not going to take the column, I'm going to take the line option. So when I go for the line spark line, this will be demanding. Where is the data? Data is already selected. Now, where is the location you want to present it as a visual? So I'll take the cell from the location and I take this visual column for cell. Now, once I click this OK, you will be seeing that some more or less a line graph is populating. And along with this, one Sparkline or Options tab or Design tab, one separate tab also will generate. And in this tab, when I navigate, there is an option called Markers will turn up. So this markers, when I select the checkbox, it will be having the pointers inside the line, Sparkline. Now the same I will be applying for the rest of our customers. And see the beauty. When I'm presenting this data to my audience, people will love to see this and this. Nobody has that much of time to remember all these numbers, whether billions, millions, or lakhs and crores, and make a story. Here itself, how the story it conveys. If you look at Globus data, though overall picture, if you larger picture, last 3 years, if you look at, it is making more business for me. But ideally, when you compare to the last year to this year, the volume is down. It's a serious issue. Why it is like this? We need to check it out. But if you look at the Arya Motor case, it is showing a consistent growth. So that's a good sign from the company's perspective. Again, if you look at the Kunoch Motors, compared to last year, there is a stiff increase in the volume of business. It's a good sign again. And Al Hamid Automobiles, compared to last year, this year, see, is a consistent business. There is no down, degrowth or degrowth much. But if you look at the Dalma Motors, last 2 years it was having a good business, but compared to last year to this year, again the business volume is quite down. So this is how people will love to make out the story from the visuals rather going through the numbers. Make sense? So please give it a try and check, is it working? So first create a visual column header and apply the same formatting of grand total, whatever you have in the visual column. So if your first customer is Al Hamid Automobiles or Globus Tata, doesn't make a difference, let it be. But select the 3 years data first, not the grand total, only 3 years data. And then go to insert. In the sparkline category, we have a line sparkline. And then it will be demanding a dialog box asking where is the data. Data is already selected. Location, the visual column, first cell. And when you click OK, you will be finding a line graph will be populated along with one extreme right tab is also generated called sparkline or design or options. Something name would be there depending upon the versions. And go for the markers. So when you go for these markers options to select, then it will be containing the markers and you can drag it down for the rest of customers. And now it will be more expressive. So this is our people, nothing new. What we have learned, the same thing only implemented. So this is how when you present it, the same when you carry to your PowerPoint also, it will be adding more value to the slides. Because nowadays, this is what hotcake in the market called infographic presentations. So rather telling the story, your visuals is automatically telling the story to the people. All right. So pivot 3, what we did, is it clear for everyone? Any questions from anybody?
So we should understand what kind of visuals we should present for the data.
That is what that comes out of your experience. So as I named some organizations name like Big Four, Bain and Company, or you go for McKinsey and Co. Those companies name you Google and download their reports and try to understand how they visually present their reports. So that will be giving a great idea. And rest of things you are going to learn from our session itself, not a big deal. But still, if you want to improve your standard of reporting or something in terms of visuals, you can always go through those reports. It is available. Okay. Now, once you have done with this over here, you can ask me a question, Prabhas. Okay, fine. This is what I have created. No problem. This visuals and all, right? Now, if I take this to PowerPoint, fine. Will it appear, will it be giving me exactly a feel as I create in Excel? Well, you can make a link of that. Rather taking the copy and paste, you can create a link of that. Now, suppose say take an example. I have taken this data, okay? So this is of my 2014, 15, 16, whatever the data I have taken. I have copied. Just have a look at my screen. I'll go to my PowerPoint. The moment I go to my PowerPoint, okay? So here, what you need to do, if you remember, I told you in our visual case also, like going to home, paste and paste special. So when I go for paste special, I'll go for a paste link. So this will be available. So that was not available only for our add-in, if you remember. Yesterday, you asked me the question that your add-in was not getting updated. You are not getting the paste link. If you remember, that's the question.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right. So now we'll go for paste link. Here it is available because this is what our as it is data from Excel to PowerPoint we are trying to locate. Now, when I go for clicking OK, you will be finding a beautiful report turns up and with all the links available over here. Now, tomorrow, suppose say I change my data from Excel. Like if I go back to my Excel, I'll change from the grand total, right click, sorting, I'll change the order smallest to largest. Suppose say now what is happening? Concord Motors is playing now the first role. Okay, let's go back to PowerPoint. Is it coming up Concord Motors? Yes. So this is what the beauty when you make the things better in Excel, you need to hardly struggle in PowerPoint. All right. So how pivot 3 is playing a great role, we got a basic understanding. How to precisely present our data in terms of expand and collapse buttons, that also we have a look over there. Now let's do one thing. Select your pivot 3 sheet tab and again hold the control button and drag it to the right side. And one more pivot turns up, pivot 4. So let's go and work with our pivot table number 4. So kindly confirm pivot 4 is ready.
Yes.
Right. Now, this visual column, kindly select. This is no more playing a role. We can remove that, but how? Just simply select the whole column, control minus. So control minus will be helping you to delete the column or rows, whatever you have selected. Okay. Now keeping the cursor in pivot, you will see the unwanted column like our month. You can remove our customers also. Now, here, one more message I would like to give it to you. I would like to share a tip with you people. Just see, the moment you select customer, okay, now I have taken only 10 to 15 customers. It's a simple, crispy report. It is dealing with that. But in the real-time situation, when you go for a report, you might be having 1,000 customers. Could be the case because you are dealing with lot many dealers or maybe more customers would be there. So can you confine all the time the limit would be 10 or 20? Can you predict that? Definitely not.
Impossible.
So in this case, what is the ideal way to present our data? So I will tell you a very beautiful option, people. Stay focused. You no need to take the entire data over there and try to present it and struggle over there. What you can do is simply go to that customer filter over there. If you want to showcase only the top 5 performers or the top 5 customers where we got the maximum revenue, if you want to showcase like that, then how to show it? Just see. I'll go to my customer field filter and there's an option called value filter. Just 1 minute, watch my screen first. And in this value filter, if you look at in the bottom, I have got top 10. It's the name called top 10. So instead of top 10, what I'll do, I'll go for instead of 10, I'll make it 5. And the moment I click OK, with immediate effect, you will be finding your top 5 customers are ready. So out of your 1,000 or 100 or 50 customers, whatever, you are going to show only top 5, top 10, top 15. So that alone, if you want to showcase, this is how you can showcase the result. Make sense? Precise report. And this is what people more focus at, right? So this is how we have understood how to work around with our value filter option and showcase top 5 or top 10. Similarly, if you want to show bottom 5, bottom 10, also the same thing. If you go to value filter again, just see top 10. Instead of that, there is a value over here, top, bottom. You can choose out of this. So whichever you are looking for, you can consider out of this. So if you remember in day one, I told you the formulas small and large. So taking the formulas, you can extract the result. In this also, you can work around with your filter also, you can get your results. So pivot 4, is it clear, people, what we did, the value filter action? Right.
Maybe one additional question.
Please ask.
Yeah. So when I want to make such a presentation in Power BI, correct?
Power
Will this option be available there?
Power BI,
Selecting.
so many options are there. It is nothing. I mean, in Power BI, you can say it is 1,000 times better than Excel.
Okay.
1,000 times. I mean, there are a lot of things you can do. This is just a limited options. You can do lot of analysis, forecasting. You can do a Q&A. You can ask the question to Power BI and Power BI will throw the result. All those things, kind of an interactive dashboard you can create over there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, interactive that. No, you showed me this option, right? Selecting top 5 and the bottom 5.
Yes, it is there.
Right.
It is there.
Okay.
To answer your question precisely, in Power BI also it is there.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. So now we have understood in pivot 4 what we did with the value filter options. Now let's do one thing. Again, select pivot 4 and holding the control button, drag it to the right. You'll be getting one more pivot naming called pivot 5. Now, let us do one thing. Let us remove our customer and bring our product description to the row area. The very first pivot table, whatever we had prepared, let's bring that. Now let's have a discussion what else we can do with regard to our pivot table. Now suppose say this is what the pivot table we had designed. Okay, before proceeding further, kindly confirm you got your pivot 5 ready. Fine. Now once we have done with this pivot, let's go and discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot. Now this is what the pivot I have got it. Fine. My boss is looking at the data and he is telling me, Prabhas, you have given me last 3 years revenue data. Well and good. But I want to know one thing. While generating this much of revenue, how much incentives we have given to our people. So in corporates, we know whom we pay the incentives to the salesman, sales agents, or our salespeople. But my boss is not interested in knowing whom we have given how much. So he was just want to know how much we have given. That's the only question he has, so that he can analyze the data, revenue versus incentive. So first question over here. Do we have a field called incentive? Kindly check.
No.
No.
So this is our
No,
first problem. We do not have the data, right? Now, let's keep this thing on hold. Suppose say in our Tata Motors, we have a uniform policy that whoever our salesman, though they are working from north region or south or east or west or the central region, whatever the billing they make, they will be entitled for 2% incentive. So this is a global policy we have in Tata Motors. Well, so now the question is, we do not have the data, but we know how to compute it. If this is the situation, how to create a column in pivot table naming called incentive. This is the objective. Now, when we know we do not have the data, we do have a choice. What is that? Going back to our source data sheet called summary table, can we go and create a column over there after channel partners naming called incentive? What's it?
Yes. Calculated.
Yes. So we can go and incentive create. Just see the beauty the moment you type incentive after channel partners and hit enter. Can you see the same formatting has been carried forward?
Yes.
This is
Done.
what we have already witnessed in our day one because of format as table option. all these options are coming up. Now, coming to the formula, what would be the calculations? Like you can go for equal to over there and taking our option from sales USD, the billing column. And when I take the billing column cell reference, it will automatically take this kind of formatting at the rate symbol, sales USD, column header, square brackets. This is also the default format of table. We have seen that. Now, only thing is we need to focus, multiply. How many percentage as we discussed? Tata Motors global policy we discussed, right?
2%.
2%. So let's go for 2%. And the moment you hit enter, this is not only going to apply for a cell, but also the entire column because data is converted into table. So now you're able to realize why did I ask you to go for converting your data into table before creating a pivot?
Yes, yes.
Right. So guys, all these things we did in our source data sheet, right? Now come back to our pivot table number 5. And now if you see below to channel partners, we do not have incentive. No need to be panic. Just see. If you keep your cursor anywhere in pivot, if you go for right click, do you see an option called refresh?
Correct.
If you click refresh with immediate effect below to channel partners, can you see incentive now appears?
Yes, yes, appeared.
Now incentive, what type of data it is holding? Is it number?
Yes.
So if number is the place, then which field area we should bring it on in the sigma values, correct? So bring incentive to the sigma value area and immediately see the beauty. In pivot, you will be getting a new field called total incentive. Along with that, year-wise, how much incentives we have paid, that is also getting populated. So this is how people, whenever you feel that you do not have the data, you do always have a choice. You can go back to the source data sheet. You can create a column. You can apply your formula. You can bring the same to pivot table with simple right click refresh, and then you can populate in the value field area. All right, is it working for everyone? Any doubt, any queries in pivot table number 5 people?
Done.
All right, now let's do one thing. Bring this pivot table number 5. Let's select pivot table 5 sheet tab and holding the control button, create one more duplicate. And the name automatically comes as pivot table number 6. Our incentive work is over. Kindly deactivate incentive. Now let's discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot. Okay. Over here, if you look at, we have got last 3 years data again, revenue data. And my boss is also quite happy. The moment I gave the incentive data to calculate and analyze, he is also quite happy with that. And we know one thing, when boss is happy and he gives a compliment to our work, what happens next? We discussed, right, in day 2, day 1 as well also. The expectation level goes high and workload increases. Same thing happened also to me. What he's telling now, he's telling, Prabhas, you have given me incentive. I'm happy with that, but I'm done with it. Now I would like to know, while making this much of billing, while generating these invoices, how much discounts we have given to our customers. I want to know that. So my boss wants to analyze billing amount versus discount amount. So billing versus discount. He wants to analyze. So first thing first, do we have a field called discount? Kindly check.
No.
Again, the problem starts. Now keep that things on hold. Just assume that, like our incentive, we do have a global policy for discount as well in Tata Motors. And what is that? If at all a customer purchase some product from us, though it is of small quantity or bulk quantity, doesn't make a difference, irrespective of the quantity numbers, everyone is entitled for 5% discount. Suppose say this is the policy we have. Now we have a situation, we do not have the data, but we know how to compute our discount. So in that case, how to bring discount in pivot? What can be done?
We can go to the source sheet and calculate.
Right. The way, basically in one line answer, the way whatever we did the operation for incentive, similar fashion, we could do it for discount also. Do you agree?
Yes.
Right. Now
Yes.
don't do anything. Don't do anything. Just watch my screen and understand. Going to source data sheet, creating a new column, applying the formula, and again bringing the same field to pivot by doing a right click refresh, then bringing the same field to the value field area over there. How much time we have spent? Roughly 2 to 5 minutes. Do you agree?
Yes. Yes.
So now if you consider, if you analyze one end, what is happening, my 5 minutes of quality time is being wasted over here. Yes, it's a waste of time. Besides that, when I go to my source data and create a new column and apply my formula for 1 lakh times or whatever the number of row items I have, my formulas, formula size is increasing. My file size is also getting heavy. Do you agree?
Yes.
So having said this, what we did, our expert, they suggest us to do the job like this, but Microsoft Excel never recommends for that. Reasons, it is there in front of you. Problems, I told you. So now the question is, if at all there is a need to create a new column in pivot with application of my own formula, how to do that? So instead of creating the source data, how to create a new column in pivot and apply the formula over there. So in this case, everyone, if you ask, they will say, okay, Prabhas, what's the big deal? We can go and create a new column over here and apply the formula. But that is nowhere going to be the property of pivot. These are two different columns, two different world. It is there in same worksheet, but it will never be the part of pivot table. So that is not going to again make any sense. So now I'll tell you a beautiful concept of pivot. Okay, how to create a virtual field or how to create a calculated field in pivot. So do one thing, keep your cursor anywhere in this pivot data, anywhere. And then you can notice on your ribbon tab, there is an option or name called Analyze or Pivot Table Analyze, depends upon the version of your Excel. Is it there? Analyze or Pivot Table Analyze.
Yes.
And within that, we have an option called Fields, Items, and Sets. Fields,
Yes.
Items, and Sets. And within that, you have an option called Calculated Field.
Yes.
And when you click Calculate Field, it will take you to a dialog box where the field name, you have the first criteria you got to change. So what is the field name we should bring it on?
Discounts.
Please define that, discount.
Discounts.
Then next criteria, it's showing formula.
Formula.
Whatever it is written, please delete that because we are going to customize our own formula. And there, what will be the formula? 5% on the billing column. So here,
Mm.
if you see the list of fields, do you see a billing column called sales USD is there?
Yes.
Double click on that. And the moment you go for double click, it will automatically embedded in the formula box.
Yes.
Then multiply with 5%. That's it. And the moment you go and click OK, with immediate effect, you will be finding a column will be ready, naming called total discount and your year-wise discounts also any point of time. If you want to see, you can see that. And the beauty is this field automatically goes to the value field area. We don't need to go for a separate action. And again, the beauty is this field is not going to create the data in the source data sheet and it will not make your file size heavy. And this is going to be the property of pivot table. See, it is already listed in the pivot table field list box.
Yes, yes.
So that's the beauty of calculated field. So this is the story of pivot 6. Any doubt, any queries in pivot 6, people, anybody?
All clear. Happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why it shouldn't be updated in the summary table?
Yes.
And there is no point. No, see that is what the beauty. If you it will be going to the summary table and update the record again. The file size will be heavy. Source file size data will be heavy. So purpose has to be solved. I should get a field, so I am getting that. But this is a virtual field, and like this, you can create n number of virtual field. There is no restrictions in pivot. Now, pivot 6 over here. Any questions from anybody?
All clear.
Okay. You must have a question. Okay. Since you did not ask, let me take you through that. Suppose say you could have asked me a question. Because if I'm doing this operation, okay, fine. But while doing this job, suppose I have committed any mistake. Instead of 5%, suppose I have got 10%. Or in the meantime, my management has changed the policy. Instead of 5%, go for only 2.5%. So if that is the scenario, do I need to recreate the entire process or should I go for editing the existing field? So which one would be the ideal option? Creating a new field or going to the editing of the existing field?
Editing of the
Definitely,
existing field.
that will be the ideal option. So now the question is how to edit one existing customized field or calculate field or virtual field. Very simple. You can keep your cursor anywhere in your pivot table, whatever you have created. Going to same, analyze, pivot table analyze. Going to fields, items and sets, calculated field. And when you go to calculate field over here, you will be seeing a drop down box over here in the name column drop down. And in this drop down, if you click whatever the fields you had created, it will be listed in this box. So since we have created only one called discount, I should go for discount. Now suppose say, as I told you, my management has changed the percentage. Instead of 5%, it is changed to 2.5%. So I go for 2.5%. I will change this. And then what I need to do, be careful. Remember, always you go for modify. People commit mistakes over here. They don't go for modify. They go on directly click OK. So Excel, what it will do, it will create another field. Same discount, it will create another field, but that will not be accepted because the field name cannot be same. So it will take automatically discount one or something, a different name. So there is no point creating the same field for multiple times. So if the change in the value is there, or at any point of time, if you believe I need to change my percentage rate or calculations, anything, you can go in this way for modify. So once you click modify and click OK, the existing field alone will be changing the discount value. So you'll not be having multiple fields naming called discount, only one field. All right. So how to create a calculate field, how to edit that calculate field, we have got the clarity. Right. Now, let's do one thing. Select our pivot 6 sheet tab and holding the control button, again drag it to the right, you'll be getting a number called pivot table number 7. Now, let's see what else we can do with regard to pivot. Now, this discount is over work, so we can deactivate discount.
How do you change the tab colors automatically?
Just simply, not automatically. I'm doing the operation. Right click on the tab. Tab.
Oh,
is
same.
I'm just.
Yes.
Is there any shortcut to that?
No, you have to do it.
Manually. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So now, people, the moment we have done with this, let's discuss what else we can do with regard to our pivot. Now I'm going to take you through one more beautiful concept of pivot again. Just see, stay focused, please. Now, suppose say this is what the pivot table I have presented to my boss. My boss is quite happy. What he's telling me, Prabhas, you have given me last 3 years revenue data in 3 columns, all the products in the rows. It is a very beautiful report. I like the layout the most. I loved it. But you have given me only one pivot table. But what I'm expecting is similar format, similar layout of pivot table should be there, but that should be based on the salesman. So in one line, if you want to say, my boss is not happy with one pivot table. He is expecting multiple pivot tables having the similar layout, but that should be based on the salesman. So basically, if I have got 100 salesman, my boss is expecting 100 pivot tables in this format. Okay, so how to do that? Yes, so the first thing, what will come to our mind? Do I have a field called salesman or salesperson or sales agent? Check it out.
Yes.
Salesperson, yes.
Yes.
Salesperson, yes.
We have. Now, no need to do anything. Just watch my screen for next 5 minutes. Okay? Watch my screen. No need to do anything. So I am doing the task on behalf of you all. So if this is the situation, I took salesperson to the row area. My pivot structure is changing. Boss is not happy because the layout is disturbed. If I took this to the column area, pivot table layout remains the same almost, but salesperson details are not available. Then there's no point. If I take it to the filter area, what happens? Now pivot table report format remains the same, layout remains the same, and above to the pivot table, I could see a salesman filter is also created. Well, so now I'm a bit happy. I got the answer, whatever the question he was asking. So what I did, I asked my boss, sir, you are looking for salesman wise pivot, right? Do one thing, go to this filter and select SM1. So salesman one data, when you click OK, this data is now pertaining to salesman one. Only thing is, you have to insert a new worksheet and you have to select this pivot. You need to copy and you need to paste it. And this is the only action you need to repeat for 100 times. This is what the suggestion I have given it to my boss. Think about the reaction, how it would be. Do you
You'll be
think
so
that?
angry as much as possible.
Definitely. Anybody, isn't it? So I will also tell you, taking 1 minute of your time, the reaction. Just listen to me. So I told everything. My boss also patiently listened my whole story. Then finally, he looked at the data. He looked at me and he gave a plastic smile. You know, plastic smile? The smile which is not natural, very common in the corporate world. You would have also noticed people, isn't it?
Yes.
And what he's telling me, Prabhas, I'm really impressed with your smartness. The way you have diverted the entire responsibility towards me, I like that. Now, if I am going to do your work, let's do one thing. Tomorrow morning, when you come to office, please bring your resignation letter with you. I would be happy to sign on that. But don't use office stationery, bring it from your home. Okay? So this is how the kind of reaction he had given. So what you have understood from the whole story, that we cannot transfer our job responsibilities towards our seniors. Do you agree?
Yes, yes.
Right. So now, what my boss is expecting from me, let me take you through. Just watch 1 minute on my screen. Okay, no need to do anything. So here, suppose as I told you, we are working with a global report and I have got 100 salespeople. Okay. So my boss is expecting that, first of all, I should go for creating over here worksheets for how many people? 100. So 100
Yes.
sheets. Job number two, I need to copy pivot table and I need to paste it for 100 times. Job number three, over here, I should select filter with the salesman name, that also 100 times, total 300. That's not enough for him. Finally, he is expecting that I should rename all the worksheets with the salesman name, that to 100 times. Now think about it, how much task we have over here. Total 400. How much time it will be taking for us? If you were in my place, think about it. Give me a rough estimate. Vanisha,
Minimum
what's your
2
opinion?
days.
Many hours. Many hours. It will take definitely more than 2, 3 hours to do this.
Even though 8 hours also not be sufficient. Trust me.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Entire day, yes.
right. Now suppose say our friend Vanisha is reporting to our friend Sriram. I'm taking two names from the group. Is there any objection, people?
No, no, no,
Okay.
absolutely no.
Thank you so much. Because disclaimer is very much required nowadays. That's why I put that. Anyway, so suppose say our friend Vanisha has presented the same to Sriram. Now Sriram is asking, okay, Vanisha, I need this. Now immediately we know very well, boss, when they're asking us to do some job, they need also immediate commitment. How much time it will be taking for you? So Vanisha told
Yes.
8 hours. Supposed to be in safer side to do things neat and clean, presentable, 8 hours. Now, Sriram, are you convinced?
It may take more than 8 hours.
Definitely. So technically, if I take you through the situation, people, when you ask for much time or many more hours, our superiors are not convinced or they're not happy with the answer. But still, when this is the situation in front of Sriram, his best teammate is asking to take 8 hours, though he's not convinced, but he has no other options. So he has allotted 8 hours time. But Vanisha, can you please confirm that taking 8 hours of time, you will be doing the job properly? You will be doing any complete error-free job?
No, no. Error free, no.
Definitely. Some what will be happening when doing the copy-paste action? A particular salesman would have copied twice, or you would have forgotten to copy a salesman job also. This is the because to human being is to error. We know that very well, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, what happens that leaves a negative impressions in our KRA report because our productivity is getting degraded. And when KRA report is negative, that will be leaving a negative impact in my appraisal system also. So what I'm supposed to get or what I was deserving, I'll not be getting at the end of the day. But I can't say
Yes.
anything because I have committed this kind of mistakes, and that only people are going to hold it and catch it. Okay. So this is the place where people, your hard work doesn't make any sense. You have to do the work smartly. So now think about it, entire situation. Now, this entire 8 hours of job, if I could do it for you only hardly in 10 seconds on a click of button, think about how much quality time you can save. A lot, isn't it?
Yes.
So this is
Yes.
what we are going to do now. Keep this entire things in focus. Now the job is how to export our pivot table data into multiple reports on a simple click of button. Just do one thing. First thing first. My boss is expecting salesperson wise report. So please bring salesperson to the filter area. Please do it. First thing first.
Done, done.
And once you bring salespersons to the filter area, you will be finding above to the pivot table one
All.
salesperson filter box is there.
Mm.
Do not click the filter box, just select that cell. Do not click the filter button, just select the cell. And go to your pivot table analyze or analyze tab depending upon the version of Microsoft Excel. The very first option from the left, you will be finding pivot table name. And don't
Yes.
click the pivot table anywhere. Can you see below to pivot table 1, there is an options tab is also available.
Yes.
Don't click that options. Next to options, you will be finding a small drop down. If you click that navigation or drop down button, it opens again with three options, naming options, show report filter pages, generate get pivot data. Go for the second option, show report filter pages. And the moment you click, it will take you through a dialog box where your salesperson field is selected,
Hmm.
and then now just click OK and see the beauty. On your blink of your eyes, Excel will start exporting the data into multiple reports, having the filter selected with the salesman name, having the pivot layout remains the same, and on your sheet tabs, if you look at how many sheets has been generated based on the salesman, do you see that many reports is generated?
Yes.
So this is called our life savior option of our pivot table, people. Trust me, I have seen people literally sitting and doing the copy paste work at the year end. So any point of time, if you happen to create dealer wise reports, customer wise reports, product wise reports, anything you name it, you can create like this. Going to save a lot of time?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yes.
So this is how people, if you know the techniques, If you know the tool better, you can definitely save a lot of time. Yes, Rohan, that's really great tool. I admire that definitely all the time. So any doubt, any queries, people, whatever we discussed in pivot table number 7?
All clear.
Yeah. Now, Sharmugam, Deepak, is it clear? Okay. Shreya, are you with us? Vishwakarma?
Yes, Prabhas.
Okay. Fine then. So if at all any doubts or queries, people feel free to ask. Don't hesitate, because all these things, whatever we are discussing, it's on the real-time case studies, real-time situation I'm creating and I'm telling to you. So everybody can connect with that story even. Okay. Now let's do one thing. Select your pivot 7 sheet tab and drag it to the right by holding the control button. So one more pivot turns up, pivot table number 8. Now, let's discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. But before that, salesperson work is over. You can deactivate salesperson. You can deactivate salesperson. Okay. Now, what I'm going to take you through is, please stay focused. In our summary table, no need to do anything, just watch my screen. Okay. In my source data, if you remember over here, we have got 3 years data. Okay. Now, suppose say somebody from the audience side, or suppose say my boss asked me, Prabhas, I just want to see only 2016 records with regard to the product called Indigo. So what I'll do, I'll go to my year and then I'll go for 2016. Then I'll go to my product and I'll choose Indigo. And then what my boss is going to do, he will go and select like this. Then we realizes, okay, so Indigo 2016, this is what the revenue we have made, right? This is how people check the data. Do you agree? Have you ever seen people doing this most of the time?
Yes, yes. Individually.
Yes, yes.
Individually, I need to
Right.
check.
So in this case, what I suggest is when you go and do in this fashion and check your data, it is taking a lot of time. This is one. And second thing, if suppose somebody would like to see the data, what we do, we go and filter it, then we go and select, we copy it, and the same data we paste it in our Outlook email body and we send it across. Have you ever seen people doing like that? Or you must be doing also, I could say that
Yes, yes. I have done this.
so many times. This is how we do,
Yes.
which is really people, there is no productivity of work over, there is no productivity, trust me. And hardly he is going to watch that report when you are sending it across in this format. Trust me. So when I'm spending my time, giving my effort, and people are not paying attention to that, then what is the point of doing that job? Right? So now
Yes.
the question is how to present it effectively, or if people ask unwanted question. So this is, in my opinion, it is unwanted because this data is with him. He could have also done the same job. What is the point of asking to me? It's just a wasting of my time or duplication of work. But see, he's my boss. I can't say in return, sir, I have already sent this data. Why don't you check by yourself? Can I say something in return when my boss asks me?
No, no.
I
Mhm.
can't do that. So now the question is, at the end of the day, how to make a qualitative statement over here so that people will not get hurt when you say something, and definitely next time he's not going to bother you also. I'll tell you. See, this is what the data we prepared a pivot, and what again my boss is asking. Let's focus on that. He asked me 2016 year and which product? Indigo. Did you remember Indigo?
Indigo.
So do you
Yeah,
see the
indeed.
same value? Do you see the same value my pivot is also carrying, right? Now, what I'll do, I will just go to that cell of 2016 and Indigo. I'll go for double click. and see the beauty. Can you see the exact segment of that data of report or line item? It is turning up in a new Excel sheet generated over here. So
Excel 20.
2016 Indigo. Can you see that? So what you have understood from this exercise?
We saved time and we didn't have to go to the summary sheet and do the same thing. It could have happened from the pivot.
Right. So that is what you have understood. The bottom line is now, okay, I'll making my question very precise. Now, this report, what you see 2016 Indigo, is it created from pivot 8 or is it generating from summary table?
From it's from pivot 8 and it gives us more detailing
Right,
because I don't have the this no, it gives us more detailing and it's from pivot 8.
right.
6% region
So
order, yes.
here, what you have understood, the takeaway is, I will tell you, the moment you send your pivot table, you no need to send your raw data and making your attachment size heavy. Just send the pivot table alone is enough. If at all at the other end, people are asking me, Prabhas, where is the data? How did you create this table? I can ask him simply go to the grand total cell and double click on that. You can see one more Excel sheet will generate having all the 3 years data.
Yes.
So what you have understood that when you prepare a pivot table, pivot itself is holding the data in the back end. It doesn't depend upon the source data or summary table data sheet anymore. It just depends once when you create your table first. Then after that, you can always send the pivot alone and this is going to cater your need. You don't need to go and depend upon the source data all the time and making things easy. So you don't need to go on repeatedly doing the time and again filter, again clear the filter, go for a new check again. So whichever the combination of data you want, just simply double click on that particular cell, your data report will be ready. So you can ask people if somebody is asking to you such kind of report, please send it over email. You can tell him, go to the pivot table, double click. Job is done.
Yes.
So this is how people, pivot table number 8, how to generate a pivot report immediately. We got a basic understanding. The detailed line item that is called expansion of a pivot table report. Now, any doubt in pivot 8 people, what we did? Any questions? Anybody?
No.
Yes, that's magical, Surupa. Definitely people, it's already there. People never notice that.
Yes.
Anyway, so now I'm going to take you through one more beautiful concept again. But yes, let's first go and create one more pivot. So go to pivot 8 sheet tab and holding the control button, create one more. So it number will come as pivot table number 9.
Yes. Number 9.
Right. Sometimes what it happens, people, we have to present our date related information in pivot, like our purchase order date, work order date, invoice date, date of joining of the employee, anything date related information. If you have, how to present the same effectively in pivot, we are going to discuss. So for that, what you need to do is deactivate the unwanted fields like our product description, deactivate. Year, you deactivate. These two fields you need to deactivate. Now, can you see above to the sales USD, we have a order date. So
Yes.
bring that field to the row area, to the row area. Okay, bring that field to the row area. Can you see the structure? It comes like this automatically.
Yes.
So this will be for everyone quite common since 2016 and above. If you are there, pivot table automatically creates the data in this pattern, but that doesn't make any sense. So how to customize our report and define with a proper hierarchy model, I am going to take you through. Keep your cursor in one of the year. Keep your cursor in one of the year and then go for right click upon that. And then we have an option called ungroup. Able to see ungroup?
Yes.
And when you click on group, immediately it will neutralize the entire grouping options and it will showcase the ready-made data date-wise invoice value. And anybody who is having 2013, you will be also getting the value in this format only.
System.
So we all are now in equal page, though it is 2013, 16, 19, 365 or 2021. This is what the common picture right now we have with us. And if you look at it is running in pages because 3 years data, maybe more than 50,000, 1 lakh records, everything is coming up as it is. So that doesn't make any sense. So how to present it? I'll tell you. Just say, select one of the date and go for right click upon that. You have an option called group. You have an option called group. And if you click the group button with immediate effect, it will take you to a dialog box where the first invoice date and the last invoice date is populating. And below to that, if you see the categories or model by over here, month is already selected. Let it be. Along with the months, kindly select years as well. And when you go and select years too and click OK, see the beauty? Your report will be coming up with a proper hierarchy. Year-wise, month-wise records, any point of time, you can display or showcase the results.
Yes.
But looking at the same now, my boss is having one more expectation. What is that? He is telling me, Prabhas, you have given me year-wise, month-wise records, no doubt. But I want to see in that particular month, date-wise records also. Suppose in Jan month, I have generated 10 invoices. Those date-related 10 invoices values also, I am looking for that. So he is expecting one more hierarchy based on the date I need to create. Okay, so how to create that? Again, keep your cursor in one of the year, right click, same group, and go for in this dialog box. Can you see a days option above to the month? It was not selected. You can select now. And when you click OK, you got one more hierarchy. So this is called
Yes.
your proper presentation of your date related records at any point of time. So year wise, month wise, date wise records. Kindly confirm all of you have got the similar structure.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Fine. So this is the story of our pivot table number 9. Now, here, the moment you go for this kind of date-related transactions, people, you have to be very careful for one more thing. Please stay focused. The moment you take the date field and customize like this, you will be noticing that there are two additional fields you will be getting in the pivot, naming called months and years. These are our virtual field again, which is generated out of our date related field. Technically, our real-time fields are years and month. These are our real-time fields. These are our virtual fields. So don't ever take these fields any point of time. If you want to analyze year-wise, month-wise records, don't take these fields. Always take the real-time fields. Okay. So this is the only one thing you have to keep in your mind. Hope it is clear what I suggested.
Yes.
Right, right. Now do one thing, please. Take pivot 9 sheet tab, hold it with control and take it to the right side. So one more pivot turns up, pivot table number 10. Now, all these date fields are over. Work. Let's do one thing. Deactivate order date, months, years. Okay. Now, let's see what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Now, just stay focused on my screen for a minute. If you remember, the moment we started our pivot table session, I told you this is of last 3 years data because I had to take you through lot many options. So we have taken some historical data of last 3 years. For the time being, assume that these are not of last 3 years data. This is pertaining to only current year. For the time being, assume that these are not last 3 years data. These are only 1 year data. That to current year. Okay. Now, having said this, if my boss asks me a question, Prabhas, I want a simple report from this data. Month-wise, how much revenue we have made, I want to see that. Well, month-wise revenue. So do I have a field called month? Yes. Don't take months, we have month. So take month to the rows and you have got month-wise data. So kindly confirm month-wise report is ready.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, once we have done with this over here, next, what we can do, let's have a look. If you recollect, in day one, we did something. I'm just taking you through that. No need to do anything. See, in day one, if you remember, when you have the data in place to make it more informative, we did something, correct? What is that? Let me take it through. Did you remember we did lot of statistical calculations over there the other day?
Yes, how to make data informative.
Right. So I told you, when you have the data in billions, millions, lakhs, and crores, maybe your immediate boss would be happy. But when you are presenting the same to the management, you should present it revenue percentage. You should compare your data, making it as a growth with a percentage, then cumulative data, YTD percentage, all these things we discussed. But where did you do this? In the normal Excel sheet data. So right now, the same situation we have in pivot. If you look at month-wise revenue, this is of no use. Anybody can do it. But the question is how to do such kind of calculations in pivot. So first target is over here, how to create this revenue percentage column over here. And what it happens ideally, people never prefer to create the same in pivot because they believe in pivot it's not possible. And what they do, they go and create it manually as we created the other day. Okay. So now what we are going to do is the same thing we are going to do, but in pivot table. And that's where we are going to make our presentation different. So first thing first, we have our revenue data in terms of billions, millions, or lakhs and crores. But I need to present it to my management. How to present it in terms of percentage. What we can do is, people, just 1 minute, watch my screen carefully. Observe. Next 1 minute, we can try. If you look at in my case, I have already got sales USD in my value area, right? I will take one more time sales USD to the value area. Now what will be happening? It will generate one more field in my pivot naming called sum of sales USD. I will keep the cursor in the header. I'll go for right click upon that. There is an option over here called show values as. And when I go for show values as, there is a beautiful option called percentage of column total. So when I go for percentage of column total with immediate effect, can you see my data has been transformed to percentage? And is it showing 100% as the total? Yes.
Yes.
So this is called now finally, I will change this name to revenue percentage. So we got one more column ready as a value addition, and that too in pivot, it is applied now. So just give it a try and check it's working.
Yes, done.
Sir, repeat process. Sir, please repeat this.
Yeah. First, you take sales USD one more time to the value field area.
Okay.
And once you bring that field, you will be getting that a new field again with the same name is coming up in the pivot. Then keep the cursor in that column header and right click. You'll be getting an option show values as.
Okay.
See, first bring sales USD over here. Then you have to go for the field right click. Then you will be getting show values as and option name percentage of column total.
Got it.
Right. So our first field, as we discussed the other day, revenue percentage is ready. Is it clear for everyone? Shall we go for next?
Yes, yes.
Right. Now to remind you, the next our target is over here creating the growth column. So how to create a growth column over here, comparing the data month and month, we are going to discuss. So what we can do, again, just watch 1 minute for my screen. Okay. I will take sales USD one more time in the value field area. The new field, whatever I have received, I'll keep my cursor in the column header. I'll go for right click upon the same, show values as. There is a beautiful option called difference from. There's a beautiful option over here called difference from. Okay. So when I go to difference from, it will automatically take me to a dialog box asking base field. What is my base field? So what does it mean by base field? First, try to understand. In any table data, whatever your first column, that is your base field. So in our case, we are comparing the data month and month. So month is the base. So is it showing month? Yes, month is showing. So no need to do any changes. Now coming to base item, it is showing by default January. So when we compute our difference, did you take a standard month as a base and we started comparing? So when did you compare your data? How did you compare that? We have compared with the previous month, right?
Yes, January.
So instead of base item at January, we should change it to previous. And when I go and click on this previous and click OK, with immediate effect, you can notice the data is now giving the look over here field called growth. I should change the name growth. So one more column as a value addition, we made it ready as growth. So give it a try, please. Take sales
I get,
first. Yep.
I get a pop-up auto sort and auto show can't be used with custom calculations that use positions reference. Do you want to turn off auto sort, auto show?
Is it showing yes? Is it showing yes?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes, yes.
go and click yes, no problem.
Okay, clicked.
Right. Rename the field as growth. So kindly confirm people, you all able to do this?
So renaming is just we have to rename. That's all, right?
Yes,
Even
yes.
I missed.
That is nothing much. You can simply rename.
But my revenue percent column has completely gone.
Okay, I guess you have changed the same only. Okay, you can share your screen. Let me have a look.
Okay, one second. Uh, so this is my sheet. What did I do? Can I do a control Z?
Okay, no need to do anything. Just go to column C, sum of sales USD2 header is showing. Yeah,
No.
right click on
Make
that.
this public.
Yeah, right
Okay,
click
right.
on that. Then go for show values as and percentage of column total.
Okay, then this becomes revenue again.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you just type the name revenue percentage. Right. All right, people. So I believe everybody is clear getting this growth column in terms of value.
Yes.
Now, as I told the other day, growth in terms of value, maybe my immediate boss would be happy watching the same. But when we are presenting our data, we need growth percentage. So how to get our growth percentage? Let's have a look. Again, 1 minute, watch my screen, please. I will take sales USD one more time to my value field area. Column header, I'll turn the right click. I'll go for show values as exactly difference from below to that. I'll be finding percentage difference from. So when I go to percentage difference from over here, you will be finding base field as month. Yes, base item should be previous. Fine. Now when I click OK, can you see the data has been transformed again into percentage? And I can rename the field growth percentage. So this is how we got one more column ready, naming called growth percentage. Kindly check, is it coming up?
Yes, it happened. Growth percentage.
Now, once we have done with this, what's the next requirement? Like creating this YTD, the accumulation or cumulative value, how to create that, or we call it as over here in Excel language, running total, but technically name is YTD. Well, so what you can do, people, again, watch my screen for a minute. I will take sales USD one more time in the value field area. One more new column turns up, right click on the column header. Show values as, can you see one option called running total in? We do have a option running total in. So if I click this running total in, it will again take me to a dialog box asking base field. Which is the base field? Base field is the month. I don't need to do any changes on that. I can simply go and click OK and see the beauty. Immediately my data is transformed to the cumulative value. I told you how to check the cumulative value column. When you go to the month of December, the value of YTD column, is it matching with my revenue column total sale? Yes. So we are in the right track now. All right. So this is our revenue column, and that is our over here naming YTD. So going to running total. So kindly confirm once it is done. Is it clear? Any doubt, any queries? So similarly, let's go for YTD percentage to bring it. As I told you, bring sales percentage, sales USD again to value area. Right click on the column header and show values as exactly below to running total in. Do you find a option called percentage running total in? So once you select that, again, this will be demanding you, where is the data? Data is base field is month. So click OK, no need to do any changes on this, and you got your data YTD percentage column ready. So this is how, people, we got one more value additions to our data, naming over here YTD percentage. So what exactly we did in our day one in normal Excel worksheet data, the same thing we did it in pivot. And when you do the same in pivot, people will love to see that. And trust me, somebody definitely from the presentation area is going to ask a question. How did you create all these things? I mean, they will go and check in the source data. There is no such kind of columns over here, right? So they will be a bit surprised and they will ask you, how did you create as a pivot column? Because people prefer to always create all these things by a manual column. They don't know how to create in pivot table. But when you do the same, there you are making a difference. So what we did in pivot table number 10, is it clear, people? Any doubt, any queries?
Clear.
Right.
Prabhas, I just had one doubt. So whenever we are going and we are selecting these options of, show, when I do a right click, so I have to keep my cursor on the header, like the YTD, the
Yes.
growth. I have to keep it there and I have to select the option.
Yes.
Otherwise, my columns will not come in sync, right?
No. Otherwise, that option will not be visible. Just see, I'm just showing it immediately. If I take my cursor over here, I right click over here,
Mm.
though the values
Mm.
will be showing, but sometimes this option, since it is already created, it will be showing. But if you are just taking for the first time, it will never show like this. So this is the reason why I always prefer you should go to the column header, right click, so that you'll be having a control what and which column you are dealing with and which option you are taking.
Okay.
Right.
My columns also went a little haywire, so I thought because I did not keep it there and click, that's fine. But okay, I understood.
No. Column, why it would be? Because while taking that sales USD over here, you would have dropped
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in the middle. That's why the order would have been disturbed.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you can set the order. You can see in this box, there is a small navigation buttons are there. If you click that, it will show move up, move down. You can customize that.
Okay. From there, I can customize it.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
got it.
you can.
Thank you.
Welcome. So now, I guess everyone is clear, people, what we did.
Yes.
Right. Now, again, if you are doing for the first time, definitely the audience has never seen them and they will be very happy. But next time when you go and present, do you think that again it is going to create that kind of wow impact in the audience mind?
Oh no, it becomes
Definitely not.
casual.
Definitely not, because you have shown that during the last meeting, you have shown all these things. So people have already seen that. So same thing again, it is not going to create an impact. But now my question is, when I am presenting something which is anybody's job or people can create all these things, they know that how to create, then how to make your presentation different from others, right? That is what we have been always emphasizing upon day one, day two, day three also. If you look at my focus is that only, correct? So where I am making it different, how it is I'm making it different by my presentation style. Did you remember?
Right.
So here, what we can do, again, I'll take you through. Day two, the visuals, what we have applied, how to apply over here. I'll take you through. Just 1 minute, watch my screen carefully, what I'm doing. See, I will take sales USD one more time to my value field area. A new column turns up. I'll take to the column, header, right click, show values as the thing what we created for growth. I'm going to take the same, like going to difference from. Okay. Now, when I go for difference from, I told you should be month only. Yes. Instead of Jan, we should go for previous. Now this is ready. So growth column, I name it now to visual. Okay, I named it. Now having the growth over here, having the visual over here in this format, having the same value, I can't name it. There is no sense over here. What I can do is I can select my data, only the data, not the visual column blank cell, only the data. I'll go to my home tab and there conditional formatting. If you remember, we discussed something the other day called icon sets, right, people?
Yes.
In this icon sets, now I'm going to take the triangle. You can take the arrow keys the other day we have taken, but now I'm going to take the triangle. And I told you, this kind of icon sets as it is, if you apply, doesn't make any sense. It rather it will be creating a lot of confusion in the audience mind. So what we can do, I told you, at any point of time to see the backend rule of this to customize where to go into home, conditional formatting, which option? Manage rules. Manage rules. And when I go to manage rules, I need to go for edit rule. And when I go for edit rule, this is the place where I need to customize the rule. So what is the kind of customization I need to do? First, the data point has to be changed. Instead of percent to number, again percent to number. Then this value, that green color triangle, will be applied when value is not greater than equal to, only greater than, and finally show icon only. This checkbox needs to be activated. So all these things, when you do and click OK, again click OK, you got a very beautiful things called visual column will be ready, right? Now once my visual column is ready, it is there in the extreme right, but growth column is over here. Do you think that having this much of distance between the columns, it will be going to make any sense? How it would be adding more value when, if I'm presenting something growth, then the immediate next column should be visual. Then only it can be correlated and people can identify easily, or people can analyze in a better way. Do you agree? So basically, visual column, instead of keeping at the end, I should bring it to next to the growth column. But how? See, when I particularly keep my cursor in a cell, this is called cell selection button. The thick plus symbol is cell selection button. But when I take in the bottom right corner, this is called cell drag and drop. If I take little bit up, you can see now 4 directional arrow keys turns up. This is called cell navigation button. Now, having this button, selecting the cell, when I drag it to the left, can you see now the column is shifting with a thick green color symbol, and now it is ready. So this is how people, you can give a add-on to the data, naming called visual over here and forming part of the pivot table property only. And there you are going to make again the difference. So give it a try and check this is working.
Prabhas, can you show the visual bit again? I missed a few steps.
You can share the screen. I can guide you, not a problem.
Okay. So actually, I was trying to change my columns there, and I
No
missed the
worries, no
steps.
worries. You can share the screen so others also can refer those who have missed out because of the poor internet connectivity also. So you can
Okay.
share your screen.
Sharing.
Yeah.
So I was trying to. So I got this a little wrong. So I was trying to align this first.
Okay. Now
Revenue.
I'll tell you. First, you take the growth percentage. See, growth percentage has to be immediate right to the growth. So take your cursor to the growth percentage header.
Oh, to the growth percentage header here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Select that cell. Huh. Now take your mouse pointer to the right side wall of that growth cell, right side wall.
Okay.
Go bit up in the same row bit. No, no, you're going far. That is the button. That no, no, no. Come down a little bit. Come down a
Hmm.
little bit. No, no, you're going again little bit up. That is the point. You can see 4 different arrow keys from different directions. Top, bottom,
Yes.
left, right. So that is the button you have to hold. On the mouse, left click, hold and drag to the left. Yes, drag to the left. For the left. No, 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 no. You are not doing it properly.
Mm-hmm.
Do it again, the same fashion. Yes, you can come left. Now here
Okay.
it has come. Now you have to no, go up again the navigation button. Yes. Now again one more left.
Oh, it just didn't stop. So yeah,
So you're
what
going
happened?
up. You don't go up. See, in the same horizontal line, come left. Don't take up the cursor. One more left.
Okay,
One more
I'm
left.
taking a left, but it doesn't happen.
No, it will happen. See, why it will not happen?
Mm,
I'll tell you
okay.
what is the mistake. Hold on, hold on. What is the mistake?
Hmm.
I'll tell you. You are in row number 3. Little bit take your
Hmm.
cursor up, cursor, that scroll bar, you take it bit up. From the right
Okay.
side scroll bar, scroll bar.
Yes.
No one is a scroll bar is in the K column. K column is having the scroll bar. That's
Okay. Okay.
that's
This scroll
yeah.
bar you want. Okay. Okay.
Now you'll see how you're moving.
Hmm.
Click left. Now can you see your green color options are going up. That is what you should do the same line.
Okay.
Take it. More. Yes, you got it. Leave it. Leave the mouse there. No.
Hmm.
You have to bring the mouse, that green color's thick line exactly next to the growth. One more left.
Oh, probably I'm doing this for the first time. That's why it's not happening.
No. You have to get a better control on your mouse.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
I don't use a mouse actually. I'm using a
Yeah.
scroll pad. I'm
Find
using
the
my laptop.
touchpad. Find the touchpad also. Left click is there, right?
Huh.
Yeah. Hold the left click and just scroll it to the left. Scroll it to the left. Left. One more left. Leave your mouse then.
Yes.
Leave your mouse. That's it.
Hmm.
Similarly, you bring your revenue percentage next to the revenue.
Hmm.
Left. Again left.
One more left, I think I'll do, and it will happen.
One more.
Oh God, this is where I get stuck. Can I do it? Can I do it from here?
No,
Revenue, because
not
it
from
was
that
not
point.
happening.
No, it will.
It was.
Why it will not happen? See, now from so far distance you have covered this much. Now only one more left you have to go. If it is really struggling, then you go for move up.
So revenue percent, growth percentage, YTD. I just have to change this part now.
Yes.
Correct?
You should not manually create visual. You have to create one more column. Delete visual column.
Yes,
Delete the
I'll delete
visual
it.
column.
I'll just delete this here.
Yeah. Now keep the cursor in pivot. Keep the cursor in pivot. Take sales USD one more time. Take sales USD one more time.
Hmm. I'll keep it. I'm trying to put it right
Yeah,
down.
little bit up. See, you are getting a symbol called circle with some red color mark. So that is not the place you should leave your mouse. Bring sales USD. Yeah,
Okay.
come down. Little bit up. That's it. Leave your mouse there. Leave your mouse there. Leave your
Okay.
mouse. Leave your mouse now. Leave your mouse. Now it has come in the end. Now keep your
Yes.
cursor in the header. Keep your cursor in the header.
Yes.
Right click. Show values as
Um,
difference
show
from
it
previous.
previous. Okay. This is visuals.
Now you name it as visual.
Visuals.
Then select only the numbers from the visual column. Select only the numbers.
Yes.
Then go to Home tab, Conditional Formatting,
Hmm.
Icon Sets.
Concepts.
Second option, triangle is there, or first also you can take whichever is you like the most.
Okay. Maybe I can take this.
Yeah, you
Should
can
I
take.
click on this?
Yes. Then again go to Home tab, Conditional Formatting,
Hmm.
Manage Rules,
Manage rules.
Edit Rule.
Edit rule.
Change the data type first. From the right side, data type. Type is there. Type 1 box is there.
Type one.
Right in the right side, bottom right side,
Yes.
type. Yes.
Type yes.
There you change
I'll change
from
it to
number.
number.
Again, change the number.
Hmm.
And then the green color triangle, it is showing greater than equal to. Greater than
Yes.
equal to. Instead of that, go for greater than only.
Yes.
And then show icon only. One option is there. No, don't change the second one. Don't change the second one. Only the first one. Yeah, show icon only. Click OK. Again, click OK.
Okay. Now, and it comes. Yes.
Now the same, you can bring it, the column header, next to the growth column.
I can bring, by doing this, I will. Mm,
One more.
mm,
Again, you are going up. See, that is what you are taking in diagonal section. Same parallel line you have taken. Left, left, left. That's it. No, you are going up again. Now left, take the left. Yes, lead the mouse.
yes. Yes, it came.
Fine. So this is how people, I believe everyone is ready with that. What
Yes, I'm,
fine.
yes.
So I'm taking
Yes.
control back on the screen, and yes, Rohan will be going for that. I know it's a bit delay in the break, so don't worry. We'll take that short break over here. All right. So I believe whatever we did in our pivot table number 10, we all are clear with that, and how to give a add-on in terms of visual. That also we have got a basic understanding. So taking the live data, keep practicing again and again. I'm saying if you do not practice, things will be completely in vain. The time what you have invested, the money what you have invested, there will be no fruitful result. So these things you should have implemented immediately. I don't need to tell all these things. From your side, you should have asked me, first, can we do like this? First, can we do like that? So that shows lack of practice. So don't take it me wrong over here. Take my advice, please. Practice well. Anyway, not a problem. So now with this, we'll go for a short break. So in my system, it is 4:20. Again, dot 4:35. We are going to catch up. So have a brisk 15 minutes break is there. We'll come back soon. All right, friends, I believe everybody's back. Could you please respond in the chat box? Why for yes, so that we can resume. Okay. All right then. So we have discussed about our pivot table number 10, how to make it informative, having the other day the calculations like our statistical calculations. We have discussed about it. So let's do one thing. Just select pivot 10 sheet tab and holding the control button, drag it to the right. You'll be getting one more pivot naming pivot table number 11. Okay. Now let's remove all these things because this work is done. So how to remove the unwanted fields? Because if you look at in our value area, there are so many fields and I can't just go for selecting all and I can remove. That is not possible in pivot. So if I go and remove one by one, it will be taking a lot of time. So the best way to remove the entire sigma value field area, I'll suggest just say in our columns area, one sigma value is there, correct? In this column area, one sigma values is there. Don't touch anything in the sigma value in the column section. Just take that field out and see the beauty. The entire sigma value will be cleaned. So this is the best way to clean up your data. Now, month is no more required. You can deactivate. Now let's go for bringing our sales USD to the value, the first pivot table, whatever we had designed, year into the columns, product description to the rows. So whatever the first pivot table we had created, the same thing, we brought it over here. So kindly confirm the similar structure you got in front of your screen. All right. Now, once it happened over here, stay focused with one thing, people. Okay. Now, just keep yourself in the audience side. Okay. I am presenting my data, no doubt. I am presenting along with a storytelling format, like in the format of like going to Indica, it is making the maximum revenue, going to Jest, it is making the least revenue. Anybody can make out. But the moment I present it in this kind of lengthy numbers, billions, millions, or lakhs and crores, do you think that my audience will be happy? So if you are at the audience seat looking at such kind of large numbers, is it easy to interpret? Is it easy to read out also? Whether it is 6 lakhs 18,000 or it is 6 crore 18 lakhs, very difficult immediately, instantly to make out. So ideally, when you look at in our any company's balance sheet or financial records or results, or if you see the big four firms presentations in the charts and graphs, anything, how do they present the data? So if it is of 6 lakhs 18,372, it will be more precise if I go and present it something 6.18. Then it makes sense, easy to read, and I can make out. And there I'll go for making in the top over here, naming INR in lakhs. Easy to interpret. Anybody can read out easily. What do you think? The data of Indica 2014, precisely, if I go and present something like this and I showcase the result whole table, INR lakhs, so people will love to read this, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So now the question is how to turn this entire pivot table numbers into lakhs. This is the question. Whatever it comes to your mind, some of the other people, you would have also noticed people demand this in the audience side when you present it. And this is where we struggle.
Should we change to currency, something like that?
No, but how will you do that? See, here if people are demanding, our experts, they will suggest you go to summary table, take this sales USD, create a new column, this value divided by 1 lakh, and the new column, whatever you get it, that one you deal as a sales USD column over here in the value area. This is how people ask us to do. But what happens, as I told you, when you go and create another column, again, file size will be heavy. Do you agree?
Right.
So that's not a better options. Definitely, we have to rule out. Now I'll tell you a very beautiful piece of information, people, where you can make your things better. And trust me, that solution will never get it in internet world also. In anywhere in the web, you can't get that. Just see what is that exactly. Kindly do one thing. Select the numbers. Select the numbers. And control one. Just press control one. You will be getting format cell dialog box on the screen, control one. The same thing, what you do with right click, format cells, the same thing, nothing else. So when I go for right click, format cells, I'll be getting the same format cells dialog box on the screen. Okay. Now go to custom. Now go to custom. So when you go to custom, you see in the type box, there's already a general text is there. So kindly remove that general text. Kindly remove that general text and just type as it is one by one character what I'm saying. So first you go for 0, then take the backslash, not forward slash, the backslash. Where is the backslash? Above to the enter key. You have a dedicated key or integrated key of pipe and the backslash symbol. So take 0, then backslash, then take one dot, full stop, take one dot, and then take 0, 0, and 1 comma. I repeat, you can cross check 0 backslash 1 dot, again 0, 0, 1 comma. Can you see the sample data exactly matching with the requirement what we have discussed? The sample data, if you look at, is it matching?
Yes.
So this is what the custom setup. Don't go in depth what is the meaning by slash, 0, and all. That is not playing, go for it playing any role. Just simply remember this. This is the setup I need to give it in the custom format to convert my numbers INR in lakhs, if it is INR. Okay. So once you go and click OK with immediate effect, you will be finding your numbers are changed. So I'm putting in the chart box as well also, so that you can refer it. And trust me, it is not only pivot table. Anywhere in the normal Excel sheet also, you can apply this. And people will love to see this. So you share this technique to anyone you believe who knows Excel the best in the corporate of yours. Ask him how to convert my INR in lakhs. And if you give his this kind of suggestion, he will be very happy. Anyway, so how to make our precise presentation with the custom format we have seen in our pivot table number 11. And this is what the format, INR in lakhs. Hope that is clear. Any questions?
Is there opportunity to bring back to the same number?
Same thing, you go on custom format, remove it. You can select Control 1 and go to that type box over here, and you can just remove everything, and then go and see the sample data already started.
Yeah.
Data. You can go and click OK.
Okay.
All right. So here, the moment we go for these people, we got the things, no doubt. Now let's do one thing. Select pivot 11 sheet tab and holding the control button, create one more duplicate. Pivot table number 12. So let's see what else we can do with regard to pivot.
I have one question,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit. I also installed that zoom it. When I press Control 1, zoom in, it goes to zooming. Is there any opportunity to control that?
Yes, you can see the moment you go for zoom it, you have to customize your own thing. Like the moment you go for that, see, in zoom it, I have taken zoom toggle, control Q,
Okay.
live
I
zoom.
cannot.
Yeah, live zoom, you can set it across, and those keys you have to remember what exactly
Okay.
you're using. You have to remember that key. Now, suppose say I'm taking control key over here. Okay. Now, if I go for live zoom, these are the options already mentioned. See,
Right.
to avoid the screen flickering when enter live zoom multiple times during a present, all these instructions you can go through that. So control up, control down option is there. If you want to draw something, erase something, changing the color, B for blue, R for red, all these things you can go for it. Again, to clear the screen, a sketchpad typing white, W, K for black. All these options are mentioned, so you can follow this.
Okay. Sure.
Right. Now, let's go to our pivot table number 12. Okay, so clean up everything, whatever we have over here. I'm just cleaning up everything. Okay. Not allow me. Right. Now, here, what we are going to discuss, kindly save all your workbooks because so much of efforts we have made, there might be a crash. So save all your workbooks. Now, what we are going to discuss, people, a very beautiful concept again, how to create or design a dashboard in pivot table. So dashboard, this is what now again a hotcake in the market. Wherever you go, and if you take bunch of files and you try to present it, do you think that people would be happy? If you take 4 or 5 files and showcase the same to your immediate superior, whoever XYZ your boss, do you think that he's going to be happy?
Okay.
No way. What he'll say? When you start sharing, sir, you have to go from A file to B file, B file to C file like this. He will say, he will stop you immediately. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Do you think that I have got whole day to go through all your files? This is what the people react. So what he immediately expect, he will say, Pravas, why don't you just bring it in one file. Why don't you make as one pager report over there? This is how people demand. So dashboard is nothing but it is just a single window page report. All the information would be there in one interface. So people no need to navigate, people no need to scroll a lot, and within one page they can have all the information on a click of button. That's called dashboard. But technically, when you go for dashboard things, what are the things common you find? There will be definitely a drop down which will be giving a privilege to select a particular variables out of the drop down. And once the drop down is selected, there must be a tabular data. And based on the tabular data, there should be a charts and graphs. So when you have all these three elements in place, that report can be classified as a one-pager report or a dashboard. Do you agree with me? Theoretically, hope you got some understanding.
Yes.
Right. So I am
Can
going
you
to,
repeat
yeah,
points? Charts and graphs?
yeah, there
A
will be,
drop down?
yeah, there will be a drop down, and based on the drop down, there should be some tabular data, and based on the tabular data, there should be some charts and graphs.
Yes, got it.
Now, I am going to take you through some real-time dashboards, which will be giving more clarity what we are up to, what we are going to achieve, or what is our aim, and then you can connect with that very well. So no need to do anything for next 2 minutes. Just watch my screen. Okay. So I am going to take you through people some real-time dashboards. So first, let me take you through one HR dashboard. Okay. So please stay focused. So this is a one-pager report, again, a dashboard, a sophisticated dashboard you say from the HR department side we have prepared. And you can notice the entire department names are available in one box. The customer, they have got 5 different cities. They have their offices, all the office names or city names are available. Last 9 years data we have taken to analyze, and the different employee names who are working in the organization, that name is also listed over here, and different types of charts, graphs, line, column, pie, bar, everything is over here. Now how it works, I'll show you. Suppose say at any point of time you want to know, okay, you can ask me, Prabhas, I would like to know during the last 9 years, what is the headcount trend of HR department? So I'll do one thing. I will select HR from here. You will see immediately this chart is going to change. So you can focus on the chart. I will select HR. Do you see the chart is changing? Similarly, if you ask me, Prabhas, in HR department, Los Angeles City, what is the headcount trend? So HR is on. I need to only select Los Angeles from this place, and this chart is going to change. Just see. If I go and select Los Angeles, is it changing? Yes, it is changing. Now, if you ask me, Prabhas, in HR department, Los Angeles City, during the year 2006, what was the breakup of salary? This is going to change. And based on this chart and this chart is going to change. See the beauty? Human resource, Los Angeles City, 2006. Focus on the charts. Is it changing? Over here, immediately. So this is called, people, a sophisticated dashboard. And this needs time. It's not just something, put the formula and get the answer, but one-time investment, you have to give your time. And trust me, this is what nowadays people get it outsourced, and they pay a hefty amount, somewhere around 25 to 30K each on an average for creating a dashboard like this. And to create something like this, of course, you should have some plenty of data of 9 years to play around. That's not a joke. You should have that. And 90% calculations are pivot table calculations. So far, I mean, from the afternoon, whatever we have doing so far, same thing, it is needed over here. Next, there should be a list to update the ready-made options. Like, suppose I have completed the current year business, I can keep adding. Suppose I have opened an office in a new city, I should update the city name. If I have introduced another department and there also I have recruited some people, I should name that department. And then any employee leaves, I need to delete. Any employee joins, I need to add the same in the bottom. So this is for the updation of records purpose. I need to have something. And all these 3 sheets, when you compile, this is the output you can achieve. So if you create something, more or less, not exactly this, at least 50% of work like this, if you do, definitely that will be an asset for the company. What do you believe? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So this
Yes.
is one our HR dashboard. I will show you one more sales dashboard. Just pay attention. So I'll go to my next sales dashboard. So when I go for this sales, okay, it will be creating a error. Hold on, please. Yes, as I was anticipating. Okay, I'll take one more. Yeah. See, this is again one page of report of sales related activities. So you can notice different types of charts, graphs, pie, line, bar, column, everything is there. And below to this, if you find our month details, product categories, whatever we have sold, sales representative names, and these are the four regions names also available. Now, suppose say at any point of time, I want to see as a company CEO, larger picture, I want to see what is my Eastern zone, how is the performance in the Eastern zone. I'll go and click. This is what the status of Eastern zone automatically changes on a click of button. Now, suppose say I'm the chief marketing officer. I would like to know how is my salesman Jenny Paul is doing in the Eastern zone. So I'll go and click Jenny Paul, and this is what the status of Jenny Paul. Complete picture on a click of button is available. So now this is also called a dashboard, and we are going to create more or less something like this. All right. So hope you got a clarity what we are up to. Right, people? Now,
Yes.
are you interested learning the same?
Yes. Yes.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
All right. Fine then. So before creating or designing any kind of dashboards, people, some ground rules you have to follow. Rule number one, it says that whenever you take multiple objects in your dashboards, you have to be pinpoint accurate with regard to the alignment, because your alignment gives a finishing look to the dashboard. And second thing is, when you take some objects, you must have some high definition colorful buttons, because those colorful buttons again adds the better look and feel to the dashboard. So having said this, if I want to prepare a dashboard from this pivot table number 12, how to prepare, we are going to achieve that. So now let's do one thing. Keep your cursor about to the pivot table and insert a row. How to insert a row? Alt-I-R. Then, to repeat the last action, keep hitting F4 key and create some 10 to 15 blank row items above to the pivot. So this is the first thing. We'll go step by step confirmation. So first create some 10 to 15 blank rows above to the pivot. Now, once we have done with this, people, keep your cursor in pivot and go to our pivot table analyze or analyze tab, depending upon the versions of Microsoft Excel what you have. And there, go to our option called insert slicer. If you remember in day 2, we have discussed something about a glimpse of that, how to insert slicer and all in the normal table data, right? So today we are going to discuss in depth on that. So go to your analyze insert slicer. When you click, it will take you to a dialog box where all these fields from our source data sheet is enlisted over here. Now, what is this slicers about? These are nothing but it acts like a filter button. Whatever you do with your normal filter action, the same thing you are going to do with slicers. But the beauty is, slicers, it will be acting like a visual filter button. Means you can see all the filter buttons on the screen. You don't need to go and click the filter button, then only you can see the variables. You can see all the filter variables over there. That is the only difference. But the moment you are thinking to integrate your slicers with pivot table, you must follow a rule. And the rule says, whatever the fields you have taken in pivot, like we have got year, product description, sales USD. These three fields you should not choose as a slicer again, because that will be amounting as a duplication of fields. But there is no hard and fast rule. If you believe you can make use of that, you have enough space in the window to work with, you can take that. But that is not recommended. Now, apart from these three fields over here, say year, product description, and sales USD, anything else I want to work with, then how will I work? Or what are the fields I need to take it? Let's have a look. Suppose say I want to do customer wise analysis. I have taken I have taken that. I want to do salesman wise analysis. I have taken salesperson. I want to see the region wise records. I have taken that. And then I want to look into month wise records also. Don't select months, take month. I repeat, you can cross check customer, salesperson, region, and month. Is it selected?
Done.
Okay.
Yes.
All of you kindly confirm. Now, the moment we have done and click OK, you will be finding 4 slicers boxes are ready. Now we have only one job left. We have to select the slicer and with the slicer name, and we have to take it, hold it and drag it and align it above to the pivot table area. Like see, if I want to take month, I can take like this. Again, if I take customer over here, salesperson over here, just align it in one alignment. You can have your own order. It's not necessary. You can follow mine. But what I always suggest, the slicer which contains the maximum variable, always create or place it to the right side of your window, because you might be having enough space in the right side, because we always work from left to right. So always try to retain the slicer which contains the maximum variables in the right side of the window. But there is no hard and fast rule. It's up to you. You can take it wherever you want. So kindly confirm you have aligned all the slicers in one alignment like this, the way I'm showing on the screen.
Yes.
Right. Now, though we have aligned the slicers people, but the look and feel of the slicers is not so great. So we need to work with the bit of cosmetics look of our slicers. But how to do that? Just see. When you select a slicer, can you see one extreme right of the ribbon menu? We have an option added naming called slicer, or you might be having called design or options or tools, depending upon the version. Do you see? One button is activated.
Options.
Yes.
Yeah. So go to that and you will be finding different slicer styles would be there. Different slicer styles would be there. If you go for the more button, it will open in two broad categories, light and dark. There is no medium over here, light and dark only. And as I told you, when you create a dashboard, you must have some high definition colorful buttons. And for that reason, use the dark options. So select one slicer, take one dark, select one more slicer, take one more dark color, again one more dark, and finally taking one more dark color. So this is how people, people you can notice 4 slicers, 4 different dark colors we have applied. All of you able to do?
Yes.
Right. Now, once we have done with these people, though we have aligned our slicers and made some beautiful, colorful changes. Okay, Vishwa Amazing, please show it again. Okay. Select one slicer, Vishwa, and what you can do is you can see in the extreme right of your ribbon menu. What is that option you get it? Vishwakarma, for you, the question, what is the last button you see in the ribbon menu?
Slicer.
Okay. In this slicer, can you see different slicer styles we have?
Yes.
If you go for the more button, it opens with light and dark, two different categories. Go for the dark option. So select one slicer, choose one dark, select one more slicer, again choose one more dark color, select one more slicer, choose
Okay.
one more dark color and change like this. Is it
Yeah,
happening?
Prabhas, got it.
Okay, great.
Yes, yes.
Now, next thing is, if you look at my screen, people, or your screen as well, slicers, though it is aligned and colorful changes happened, but this kind of vertical scroll bars, it is not giving a great look. Can you see that? Each and every slicers contains the vertical scroll bar. So now, objective is how to remove that. See the beauty. To select a slicer, we know we can select by the slicer name. Okay, don't click in between anywhere in the slicers variables. And in the same slicer or design or options tab, can you see one option called columns? It is showing by default one for everyone. Can you please confirm?
Yes.
Just increase the column number and see the beauty. It will start automatically distributing to multiple columns. See my customer variable? It started distributing to 4 columns. Similarly, I'll go for region. I will select 3. I'll go to my salesperson. I will make it to 3. It's up to you. There is no hard and fast rule that you should go for 3 all the time. Depending upon the variable, you can select, you can customize. Now, when I look at my customer slicer, though it has been distributed to 4 columns, but I am unable to read my data. So you can select that slicer and slightly extend it. We have got space. We can extend that, not a problem. Similarly, I'll go for my region. I can extend it a bit. All right. Now I'm working with full screen people. Anybody is having any issues, queries, please unmute and speak. Okay. Now, once you have done with alignment and removal of all these scroll bar buttons, now select one of the slicer and go for Control A. So Control A will be helping you to select all the slicers. And then in the same slicer tab or options or design or tools tab, you'll be finding one option called align. Align. And when you go to this align tab, you will be finding there is an align called align top. Align top. And when you go to align top with immediate effect, you will be finding all these slicers now aligned from the top margin with the equal intervals. Not a problem. Again, go to the same align. We have an option called distribute horizontally. Now, why distribute horizontal is necessary, Prabhas? Because between the slicers, whatever we have the spacing, that also needs to be uniformly placed. For that reason, we should go for distribute horizontally. And the moment you go for distribute horizontally, alignment is properly placed. But the problem is now, what is happening? Our slicers are left with some empty spaces in the bottom side. So to remove the same, what we can do, in the bottom line, you can see a thick button is there in the center. That button we have to hold and we have to drag it and reduce the height. But while dragging it up, ensure you are not regaining the status of that vertical scroll bar. Then there is no point of doing this. So this kind of adjustments we have to do. The final step, don't ever forget please, is same slicer tab, having the selection with all the slicers. Next to align, you will be having a grouping option, group. You need to go and navigate. Inside group will be there. Inside group will be there. And when you go to the group tab with immediate effect, you will be finding all these 4 slicers will be turned into a single object. So this is very, very essential, the last step, because if you do not do so, whatever the efforts we have made, the formatting, the alignment, everything will be disturbed when you start working with pivot. So just to safeguard all these things, whatever we did, people, the making it into a group is very, very essential. So kindly confirm all of you have done up to this level. Any doubt, any queries?
Can you please repeat the group part? I have aligned top, I have aligned horizontally, and
Then
now
next to align, go to group, and inside the group will be there. That is what you have to
I'll
do.
click there.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Right. Fine then. So I believe everyone is clear what we did.
Yes.
Now, between the slicer and pivot, whatever the blank row items are there, kindly select and go for deleting the rows.
My pivot code.
Prabhas,
Hmm?
for me, these align options are disabled.
No.
And my pivot went away.
Have you selected all the slicers? Align will come only if you select all the slicers.
Okay.
Now it is activated once you select all the slicers.
Can you please show me how to select all these slides?
Yeah, you can share your screen. I'll guide you where is the things missing. I can immediately address it.
Yeah.
Fine, you go for Control A. Right. Now from go to align top, then align distribute
Hmm.
horizontally. Align distribute horizontally.
Okay.
Right. Now do one thing. Since
Hmm.
we have got blank spaces around in the slicers, now in the bottom side, can you see in the center one button is there, circle button is there one in the slicer. No. Slicers mid centers on the slicers bottom line center. Slicer bottom line center. No. See,
Slides.
if you look at customer slicer in the bottom, can you see a thick button is there?
Hmm.
Hold that and drag it up. Hold
Hmm.
that and drag it up.
Okay.
Yeah, you
How
drag
much?
drag it as if that blank space should not be visible. And you should not get the
Okay.
vertical scroll bar. No. Come down a little bit. Right, right. Leave it. Now leave it. Now go to next group. Align next to that group is there,
Hmm.
and then group. Yeah. Now
Okay.
your customer data is still not visible. You can't read all the customer names. So select customer slicer. customer slicer, select.
Mm.
Right. Now, in the right side of the customer slicer, can you see a button to drag towards right?
Yes.
Hold that and drag it bit right.
This is enough.
No, no, you are dragging everything. I told you only customer slicer. See, you are dragging the group data. Only customer slicer. Yes, yes. Hold it and drag it now. Now, perfect, perfect. Yes, leave it, leave it. That's it. That's it. Now you can see all the
Okay.
customer names properly. So this is what you have to practice, and you have to ensure that the entire data is visible and people can read out this. Now, select between the slicer and the pivot table, whatever the blank row items. Between the slicer and pivot table, the blank row items, select one more row down also and delete. Control minus. Control minus. Right. Now rest you can follow on my screen. I'm taking the control back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Prabhas.
Welcome. So this is how people we have done so far. That is regarding the arrangements of our all these options. Okay. Now, once we have done with this, then this next pivot table fields, whatever you see in the right side, this is no longer required us for us. You can deactivate this. I mean, you can see I'm highlighting one button. This button, you have to close it. And once you close this, immediately you got that window box deactivated. Now, as I told you, one more element is required is called charts and graphs. So keep your cursor in the pivot anywhere. Keep your cursor in the pivot anywhere. Okay. And if you go to your analyze or pivot table analyze, do you see a pivot chart is available? I'm highlighting, you can cross check even. And if you click that, with immediate effect, it will take you to your entire chart family. And there, you no need to do anything, just click OK. So when you click OK, with immediate effect, you will be finding your chart is ready. Now, just 1 minute, watch my screen. Then next 1 minute you can try, don't worry. When you have the chart in place, what you need to do, people, take the chart, align it next to the data, and just increase the width exactly in line with your slicer. So this is the only thing you have to do. All right. Now, once you have the chart in place, the problem is you can see this is not giving such a great look. You can select your chart. You can notice there is a design button activated over here. When you select a chart, you have an exclusive design button for charts also will be available. And in the same design tab, you will be finding the lot of styles, chart styles. Okay. So you can go for the more button and take the last one blindly. Now, why the last one? Why not anything else, Prabhas? Because if you take the last style, it will be giving you some kind of glossy impact, embossing effect, or some kind of shadow impact. That's why I recommend or prefer go for this option. Then, inside the chart area, you will be finding the unwanted grid lines are available. Doesn't make a great look also, obviously. So how to remove this? If you select your chart, a plus symbol will appear in the right side or left side, depends upon the space. And if you go for this, what will be happening? it will take you through a small menu icons where the grid lines option is on. You got to deactivate this. And once you deactivate this grid line box and then click the plus symbol, the chart will be clear. So these are the two minimum formattings for the charts you must do. And what's the beauty of pivot chart is in pivot chart, you'll be having some ready-made filter buttons. Do you see on your screen also? Like our year filter, product description filter. Do you see some ready-made filter buttons inside the chart area, everybody?
Yes.
So this is what you will get only if you are in pivot chart. In the normal chart course of action, you will not be getting it. So whenever you see somebody is controlling the chart within the chart filter options, this is because he has created definitely from the pivot table. Now, kindly confirm you got your pivot table ready, you got your slicer ready, you got your chart ready. Excuse me. Now, anybody needs my support? All are clear?
It's clear.
Fine then. Now, stay focused for 1 minute. Whatever we did, people, this is anybody's job. Anybody can do that. We did not do any kind of rocket science over here that, okay, we can impress our audience with this. So as I have been telling you all the time, how to make our report different on your presentation part, always bit careful for it. So how to make it different, I will tell you. Just see, keep your cursor anywhere in the blank cell, anywhere in the blank cell of this Excel sheet, and go to the View tab. Whenever you are working with the dashboards or one-page report, people, from the window interface, remove the unwanted stuffs. Like if you go to the View tab, can you see we have an option called Show Category, grid lines, headings,
Yes.
formula bar, all these checkboxes are on. You can deactivate all these three. You can deactivate. Okay. So this is one. Now, what is unwanted? This ribbon bar options, ribbon menu options. This is also unwanted purpose, but we can't remove it. We can only hide or unhide. But how to hide it? Just press Control F1. So when you press Control F1, do you see your ribbon bar is getting hidden or unhidden with the Control F1? It's a toggle key. Right, people?
Yes.
Fine. Now, once this has happened over here, being a presenter, remember always one thing. Whenever you are presenting your data, do not showcase many more information to the audience. Because the more the information you show, the more the questions you are going to invite. And in a meeting, you don't have the whole day to present your data. In a meeting, how much time maximum we get it? 10 minutes or 15 minutes max? Do you think that you'll be getting 1 or 2 hours to present yourself or present your data? Any point of time? No. So in that case, we have to be very particular. We need to do our homework properly. We need to answer all or I mean audience questions as well, and we need to give our interpretation at the end. So all these things we have to be very calculative and we have to showcase the result. So if that is the case, then how to deal with? So you would have thought something on this Excel sheets to do with what is that? What is the treatment? It's running in your mind. Prabhas, we can do like this. You can express. Nothing. I told you not to show many more information. So many pivot tables are there listed over here. You would have planned something, right? When I said all these things.
We can remove the pivot, right?
Remove the.
I mean, hide the pivot.
Okay. So you can hide all the sheets, you mean to say.
Yeah.
Okay. That is what everybody's job. Everybody think about it. That's a good one. But think about it. If I go for it, I'll be hiding all the sheets, but at least the last pivot table, what we are working with, pivot table number 12, I have to keep it open. I can't hide this, right? Because this is where my dashboard is running, correct? Now, if I
Yes.
hide all the sheets and suppose I am doing this job, I am presenting something to my audience, and in my front row of the audience, my vice president is sitting. And while doing this operation, accidentally, suppose my mouse right click is enabled. So, what is the meaning over here? Definitely, this unhide option will be activated. Do you agree? If you hide something, we get unhide button activated. Do you agree?
Yes.
So in this case, audience is smart enough to understand if unhide button is activated means something is hidden. Now suppose say looking at the same, my vice president asked me, Prabhas, why don't you click that unhide button? Can I say no? Can I say to him in return, sir, what you are looking for is over here. Why you are asking unwanted questions? Can I say something in return to my vice president in the meeting? This is not possible, isn't it? So now the
Right.
question is, people, what is the point? I spend my time, energy to hide all these sheets, but anybody on a simple right click, he can unhide this. Hide it in such a way nobody can unhide that, then it makes sense. Do you agree?
Yes.
Right. So now the question is how to hide my sheet tabs in such a way nobody will be ever be knowing that where I'm working, where is my sheet tab and which sheets are hidden except me. No one else is going to know about it. I'll tell you a very beautiful option. Just see. Start working with me. Go to file menu. Go to file menu. Do you see options tab is there in the extreme bottom? Options. Click on that. And when you click on this options tab, you will be finding over here Excel options dialog box is appearing on the screen where you have an option in the category called advanced. So when you go for this advanced category, you can see in the same dialog box, there is a scroll bar in the right side. It is appearing. Now take that scroll bar somewhere in the middle. When you see there is a display options, it is appearing display. And within that, you see a subsection called display options for this workbook. The third tab is dealing with show sheet tabs. And this is also on. You got to deactivate this. I repeat what you can do. I'll tell you. First, you need to go to your file menu. You need to go and click options. Then you have to go to your advanced. And from advanced category, you have to scroll down somewhere in the middle. You'll be finding a section called display. And within that subsection called display options, this workbook and option name is show sheet tabs. This options to be deactivated. And finally, the moment you click OK, it will be doing the job for you. Kindly check it out. Is it operating? Can you see? None of those sheet tabs are visible except you. Nobody will be knowing how many pivots you have designed, where is your source data, where is your workings, where is your dashboard you are presenting. Nobody will be knowing. So no unwanted question is going to come, right? So this is how you should have all the necessary controls upon the interface before presenting the same to the audience. Hope it is clear. Hope it is clear, people. Right. Now
Yes.
just 1 minute, watch my screen for next 1 minute, just watch my screen, what I'm doing, observe, and then you can try the same. Don't worry. See, this is what I have made, and I have made it clear, and I'm presenting the same to my audience. My boss asked me the first question, Prabhas, we are not interested to watch the last 3 years results as such. Do one thing, just show only 2016 data. Well, I'll go to my year, I'll go and choose 2016, and only 2016 data will be visible. Anybody who wants to know exact numbers, they can read from the pivot table. Anybody wants to have an instant information, he can read the chart and make out that from in 2016, from Genex Nano, we got the maximum revenue, and from Sumo Gold, we got the least revenue. Now, suppose say next to my boss, my chief marketing officer is sitting, and he asked me a question, Prabhas, if this is the history of 2016, can you please show me the performance of salesman 5? So I have a salesperson slicer, I will choose SM5. So now this is what the status of SM5. Immediately, it will be displayed on the screen. Now, looking at the same, my chief marketing officer kept quiet for a while and immediately asked one more question. Okay, if this is the history of 2016 for salesman 5, could you please show me his performance for the month of May? So if I go to my month slicer and choose May with immediate effect, you can see the result. There is only one product he has sold called Hexa, and to whom? To Tolly Motors. Which country? Africa. Can you see? On a click of button, everything is happening. So this is called when you integrate your slicers with pivot table, with pivot charts, nothing but a one-pager report or more or less a dashboard. So just check it out. Is it happening?
Yes, it happened.
Right. So taking your live data, people, you have to play around like this. And trust me, whoever is in the audience side, if they are going to witness this kind of presentation, they are going to give definitely a compliment to your work.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes.
We have made this
Yes, Vijay, बताओ.
ये जो हमने बनाया है वो सिर्फ सीट पाइवट टेबल 12 के लिए बनाया है ना
जी.
तो बाकी की इसके तो बाकी जो 1 2 3 4 है इससे उसका कुछ लेना देना नहीं
कुछ
है
भी नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं. ये अलग पिवोट टेबल है, वो भी अलग पिवोट टेबल है. इसको कोई लिंक नहीं है.
ओके ठीक है थैंक यू
Yeah. Yes, people. So whatever the way we have navigated, you must be able to do that, I believe.
Yes.
Right. Now, once we have done with this, how to restore our data? See, whenever you have a slicer on, you can see in the top right corner of the slicer, a clear filter button is there. So whichever the slicers you have operated with, you can keep clearing the filter buttons. Then chart also we filtered for 2016. That also I will clear it. Now, what are the other things we have to restore? Anybody?
The show sheet, other sheets.
Exactly. How to do that? Same procedure. Go to file.
Right.
Then anybody tell me where to navigate?
Go to
Advanced.
File, Options, Advanced. Then we'll scroll down to Display, and then we can go to that part in Display where we have the Show Sheet tabs. We'll check it to show our tabs, and when we
Right.
don't want to show our tabs, we'll uncheck it.
Right. Very good. So you got your sheet tabs restored. What are the other
Yes.
things we need to restore?
But if there are, our slicers need to we have to remove those filters. We'll remove it. We'll remove the graph filters, and pivot is okay.
That what you call grid, not grid lines, that formula bars,
Yes.
grid lines.
Where to go? Where to go?
View.
Yes. So
Okay,
first of all, keep your cursor in a blank cell. Go to View
yes.
tab, then
View tab,
grid lines, headings,
formula,
formula
headings,
bar.
and formula. Yes.
So these three things you have to again restore.
So it is necessary after showing the presentation, we should restore, isn't it?
Yes. Up to you. It's
Okay.
not mandatory. If you know, you can remember, you have the control, then it's up to you. There is no mandatory options over here, rules over here. So pivot table number 12. I believe it's clear for everyone, people. Any doubt, any queries?
Clear.
Right.
I have an extension question to this.
Yes, yes.
So probably you showed me in one of the previous chart or dashboard, right? So we can have multiple resources, right? Multiple sources, multiple sheets.
Right.
So is it possible to interlink the sheets and provide the data in this dashboard?
See, interlinking the sheets again, I mean, see, you can connect multiple charts. There, what I showed you, on a click of button, it is giving impact to multiple charts. That can be done. But taking the data from interlinking, again, it will be a problem because you should have a common data or master data, right? Then only you can play around with the pivot, because pivot is what it is generated out of your master data. If your master data is scattered in multiple sheets, then it is not possible at this state. You should have one master data. Then only you can prepare a pivot on multiple charts and graphs. You can prepare with multiple pivot table. Not a problem.
So can I say, for an example, I am taking
Mhm.
one sheet contains the skill set of an employee,
Okay.
another sheet contains the financial data of an employee,
Okay.
another sheet contains experience and all HR related data, for an example.
Right.
Okay. The names, for example, at least if the
Are they
names
pivot?
of the
Are they pivot? Are they pivot table?
yeah, I mean, just three sheets. Okay, three sheets in
No,
the same
understood,
spreadsheet.
Sriram. Sriram,
Correct.
my question is very simple.
Yes, it can be pivoted.
It can, I mean, it all are in pivot format, all are in pivot table only, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Yes. So those three pivot table, you can prepare three different charts in three different sheets. Okay, that
Okay.
can be done.
Okay. Is it
Now,
possible to
now,
please go ahead.
once you have all the three charts ready in three different Excel sheets, then you can create one more sheet, and from those three sheets, you can bring only the charts and populate one master report.
Okay. Okay.
That can be done. And all the three Excel charts you can connect with one slicer and you can play around.
Layout.
Yes.
Okay.
That is what we are going to learn next step.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is
Okay.
pending. Fine. So now people here, though we have done all these things, but there will be some setup or some specific category people, they will take a objection on this point, where they will tell, Prabhas, everything fine, looks good, but this pivot table or whatever you have created, these numbers, this is not adding more beauty. This is not giving a pleasant look. Please remove this. Now, this is our core business area. Based on this only, the slicers chart, everything we are running. And if I remove this, then how this is going to come? But I can't express all these things to him because he doesn't know all these things. He is simply expecting what he is looking for. So in that case, how to manage the window? I will suggest you people one thing. Don't go for spending extra time or extra efforts, but don't do any operation in front of the audience. If you are connected to the projector, please display, make it off, and then just turn the laptop screen towards you. Take this chart and cover your data in this format and extend your chart. Now, anybody, whoever the data they are looking for, they're asking, okay, Prabhas, I want to see only the customer Kunoch Motors. What is the status? So I click Kunoch Motors. This is what the status of Kunoch Motors. So Kunoch Motors from Africa, how much I have got it. I click Africa. This is what the data of Africa. Kunoch Motors Africa in the month of May. I click May, I got the results. Only 1 year business is there, that is 2014. And who was this? Who is the salesman? That is salesman one only made some business over here. That's it. I no need to worry about it. And which product? Bolt. So where is the data? Data is beneath the chart. And people, what they fill? There is no data over here. Simple trick. Makes sense? Right, people? So
Yeah.
this is how you have to play smart. Don't spend your quality time for unwanted demand or unwanted questions at any point of time. This is how. Anyway, now kindly go to our pivot table number 11 and select the sheet tab and drag it to the right. Then what we can do, just have a look, please. Delete all the stuffs, whatever we have. Just retain only the pivot table. Now, if you notice, since 2 p.m. so far, we have been working with multiple sheets, and each and every worksheet is containing a unique pivot table. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So in layman language, if I say one worksheet, one pivot table, we have been discussing with. What if I have got more than one pivot table? How to deal with the same, how to work around with the same, we are going to discuss further. Now, do one thing along with me. Select your pivot table completely, Control A, copy that, and leaving one or two rows down, please paste it. Okay. So now we have got two pivot tables. Do you agree?
Yes.
So what do you believe? Is it the same or is it two different pivot table?
Yes. Same.
Though the information is same people, but technically these are two different pivot tables. How? I'll tell you. Just see. If I keep my cursor in the first pivot table, right click from the bottom second option, pivot table option. Do you see a pivot table name appears over here? Right click, pivot table options. If you go for the dialog box, do you see the pivot table name is appearing there? Right? And if you remember, the moment we started out with our first pivot table, I told you each and every pivot table, they have their own unique name. So just remember for the timing in your screen, what is that first pivot table name is there. For me, it is pivot table 1. Now, if I go and do the same in my second pivot table, which is below, right click, pivot table options, do I see a different name? Yes. So that itself, it proves that these are two different pivot tables. Though we copied or pasted, but these are two different pivot tables. All right, people? Hope you got it clarity.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Now,
Right.
once we have done with this, having same pivot table doesn't make any sense. So let's do one thing. Go to our second pivot table, okay? And there, instead of product description, let's take our customer to the row area. Instead of product description, let's take customer to the row area. And go to that customer filter header. Go to that customer filter header and choose value filters, which you have already done. Top 5 customers, I told you how to select. Going to the value filter, top 10. Instead, go for top 5 and click OK. So one table
That.
having our product wise last 3 years data, the other pivot table customer wise last 3 years data, only top 5 customers. So I can go to my grand total, right click and sort largest to smallest. Now to make it different, as a second one, you can keep your cursor, go to the design tab and just do some colorful changes.
Prakash, 1 second. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
How to get this table back here, pivot table?
This pivotal fields you are talking about,
Because in the earlier sheet we had.
Show fields.
right? You can
Click
go
on.
for
Yes.
right click. You can see in the bottom side, the last option, show field list.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be getting it.
Yes, show fields. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, welcome, no problem. So, second pivot table, which is below, did you do the respective changes? Kindly confirm.
Yes, done.
Yes.
Now, once we have done with these people, then the moment we go to our second pivot table, doing some colorful changes to make it different over here, we have done all the stuffs. Now, this pivot fields, whatever it is showing, this is no more longer required to us. Now you can deactivate this. You can close this. Now what we'll do, just have a look at my screen for 1 minute. Okay. So here, guys, anybody's mic is on. Could you please mind it, put it in mute? Thank you. So what is the next step we have to do? Just 1 minute, watch my screen very closely. Okay. We have got table, but the problem will be what you will be facing, whenever you do the refresh or you update your records or something, this pivot table or the column format or automatic job format, everything will get disturbed sometimes. So to retain the format, okay, this is what the last format I have applied, and I have to retain all these formats all the time, suppose. So I want to make it center, and here also I want to make it center. Product description should name should be visible. Everything I made it, and this is my final output. I want to make it visible all the time. Then I don't want any other such kind of disturbances to be there any point of time. What you need to do is beautiful technique, I'll tell you. Right click on the pivot table from the bottom, second option, pivot table options. Here you have to deactivate this option, auto fit column widths on update. This will be by default on. You got to deactivate this. And once you deactivate, click OK. You have to repeat the same from the below pivot table also. So what will be happening? Whatever the format you had designed, that will be your permanent format. It will not get updated whenever you do the changes in the data also. It will not get disturbed. So this is how you have to have a control. Hope you got the same. Clear?
Yes.
Right. Now, once you have made this over here, keep the cursor in the first pivot. Go to your analyze or pivot table analyze in the top and choose pivot chart. Pivot chart. So when you go to pivot chart, click OK. No need to do any changes on this. Click OK. You got your chart ready. Now this chart, I will take little bit space. I'll leave from the table and I'll populate over here. And again, I'll go to the second one, pivot table analyze, pivot chart, and click OK. So this also I'll be retaining over here next to the data, leaving some space and extending the same. Okay. Now the changes I told you, always go for last style, remove the grid lines. Again, going to the first chart, design tab, last style, and clicking on the plus symbol, remove the grid lines. So we did whatever the necessary actions to be taken for charts and graphs, we did it. So kindly confirm once it is ready.
Done.
Okay. How about others?
Aligned.
All right, so I believe everybody is clear so far what we did. Now the next step. Keep your cursor in the first pivot table and go to our pivot table analyze button and insert slicer. Okay. Now when you go to insert slicer and if you click, the slicer dialog box will be activated. Yeah. And here you can see, suppose I want to do the region wise analysis. I selected my region and I clicked OK. So a slicer will be on, nothing new. We have already operated with the same in the previous steps also. But only thing is what I'll do now, I will take this and slightly, I will cover that space with slicer. Okay. Now, the moment I have done with this over here, I can do some colorful changes where to do. We have seen that already. Now, only thing is when I operate, if I click any of the slicers variables, suppose say I want to see the data of Russia, what is happening? It is giving impact only to the first pivot table. Able to see everybody? Right? Kindly check it out on your screen also. When you select a slicer variables and you click, is it giving the impact only to the first pivot table? So, what is the point when you go and create a slicer or it is operating only for the first pivot table and first chart alone is getting operated? Then there is no point of bringing all these things put together in one place. So it will make a lot of sense if you go and operate with the slicer and it will be giving impact to all the four objects. Two slicers, two pivot tables should operate. Then it makes sense. So how to do that? Just see. 1 minute, watch my screen. When I select the slicer with the slicer name, if I go for right click, if you see, there is an option called report connections we'll be getting. What is that? Report connections. And when I go for the report connections, you can notice a dialog box appears and whatever the table it is connected to my slicer, first one, the checkbox is activated. Now the below one, my number was pivot table number 12. Okay. I have to activate this. This is the only thing I have to do. And once I do this and click OK with immediate effect, you can see when I want to see the data of UK. So when I click, my both the table is now getting operated. So this is only 2014 businesses there in UK, and these are the products we have sold, and these are the customers of UK. And based on that, the chart and graph is also operating. If I want to see the data of Belgium, I'll go and click. This is what the data of Belgium. If I want to see the data of Ukraine, this is what the data of Ukraine. Cool, isn't it? So this is how to connect multiple pivot tables and operate. We have got to understand now. So this is how keep working with all these features, whatever we have discussed today. You know your data better. You know who is your target audience also very well. Techniques remains the same. Only thing is you have to get a proper grip by practicing upon the same. And trust me, this pivot table session alone, at least if you grasp it from this entire 16 hours also, it is definitely a fruitful investment of your time or money. Trust me. Everything is necessary, but I'm talking about in terms of analytical side or analysis point of view. This much, at least if you practice well and got a good grip, you can make a lot of things better. But yes, that's not the end. There are a lot of things you have to learn because nowadays it's the time of AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. So you have to improve your skill. So don't stagnate over here. Don't just feel that, okay, I know Excel, that's enough. No, Excel is just a base. You have to improve your skills to the next level. Like if you want to learn automation, go for Excel VBA macro, or your job role demands more into the analytical side, go for the next level of reporting or next generation reporting tool called Power BI. Then only you can survive in the corporate world. And no tool is permanent in the market. Everyone has his own life. But right now, Power BI is in hotcake in the market. Of course, 5 to 6, 7 years it will be more there. And Microsoft is still improving some or the other something on that. So learn that, and you can make a lot of things better. Anyway, so kindly save all your workbooks. Any doubt, any queries for the day? Hope it was informative. The entire pivot table session, people, as I told you, it will take full day for our this pivot. Fine then. So you keep practicing. If at all any doubts or queries, okay. So we'll be discussing tomorrow. Otherwise, any topics to be repeated, please drop me a message in the group so that I can log in by 1:45 and 15 minutes. I'll be spending time for doubt clarification. If there is no queries, we'll start by 2 p.m. And tomorrow's agenda would be our all the necessary formulas, functions like VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, reverse VLOOKUP, multi-criteria VLOOKUP, then the logical functions, nested functions, dashboard functions, aggregate functions, and finally we'll end up with our charts and graphs. So how to take the right selection of the charts depending upon the data, how to decide which will be more ideal options, everything we are going to discuss tomorrow. So that will be our tomorrow's agenda. Don't miss the class. I know you might be having some other commitments also, but these things also you are very well aware of that this is also needed to make your life better in the corporate world. So please do not miss the class. That would be my recommendation. And yes, if you have any doubts, I'm there to support. Don't worry. All right. So any doubt, queries from day one, day two, day three, anything, people, anybody?